Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night at the Movies and the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, we got Max, who's back from his brief hiatus, his sabbatical. What's going on, Max?
Back from the dead, bro.
The prodigal son returns. There you go. And JT, of course, here as well with us, recording live and in person. And Julie Mack. What's going on, Julie?
I didn't know we were having a meeting of the minds. I'm at home. Sorry.
Filmed in front of a live studio audience.
I keep reminding her of this and all the things we recorded here today, and I feel like such a dick now. Like, no invite to Julie. Half the time you never used to come, Julie. I used to invite you. You'd be like, nope.
But now I'm so close. I'm like, I don't even have an excuse to not go.
I literally went right by your house too. That was the fucking
Julie,
thing.
you always
street.
You have an open invite, Julie. Anytime you want to come by, just let me know. You're welcome. More than welcome.
I was actually at your back door. No.
Anyways,
like where I live?
Yeah, I went down that back street.
Oh, because you went down. Yeah. I see. Fuck, you should pick me up, dude.
Next time. Fuck.
Today's episode is Max's pick for his return here. It turned out to be his pick this time around. We're going to be discussing Blade Runner that I just got on this nice 4K that I watched in preparation for this.
Like, every time we review something, he goes out and buys it.
Where do you?
No, I had this one already. I just hadn't seen it. I actually upgraded from Blu-ray to 4K on this one because this is one of the few films I've heard that's like very worth it. Like in terms of like the upgrade, a lot of things you don't necessarily need on 4K. Like, but this is one apparently like a lot of people were talking about. Like you should get the upgrade on. So
yeah, sometimes when it scale up, like the quality is still shit.
Exactly. This is my first time seeing this on 4K though, so we can get into that. But go ahead, Max. Why don't you take it away? This is your pick.
Yeah. So I actually don't even know why I picked this. I had like a bunch of movies, and I kind of just like to. I always struggle to pick my next pick. Yeah. It's like it is a battle. Like I think everyone kind of feels that way when it's their turn. And so I had like something 10, 12, 15 movies lined up, and then I was like, I wasn't gonna like bomb you guys with that like I did before. I think remember when I gave you guys like
different picks.
Yeah. I wasn't. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna do that again. But like I boiled it down to two. Yeah. It was Blade Runner and it was The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Either one would have been fun to talk about.
I'm a huge fan of both of them, and we're doing Blade Runner, so I'm super excited that we chose this one. It had been a few years, and it's one of my all-time. Like this is an all-timer for me. It's actually one of my all-time personal favorite movies. I guess I'll get into like my first time with it or whatever. So the first time I saw this movie was actually 2017. I remember the exact year and stuff because that was the exact year that Alien Covenant came out, and me and my friends went. They like dragged me to go see that one. And I never seen any Alien movie at that point either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I loved it. I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool.
Plus,
like,
that technically takes place before Alien.
It does.
Prometheus, then Covenant, then
exactly.
Alien.
Yeah, they were like a prequel kind of series. And I guess Alien Covenant kind of ended on sort of a cliffhanger. And I think Ridley wanted to make more, but I think the powers that be kind of pulled the plug, I guess Fox or whoever. But I never seen any Alien movie either. That was my first Alien movie too. So after I was really into it. So I was like, okay, this movie's kind of sick. So I went home and I rewatched the Alien movies, and I had known about Alien, I had known about Blade Runner, and I feel like those two movies are always kind of discussed in tandem with each other. I think because they were Ridley's like first kind of two
I think
big
Alien
movies.
Was before Blade Runner.
It came first, and then Blade Runner was like the direct follow-up. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people see those two as like the crowning achievements of Ridley Scott's career. Maybe I think if you want to throw like Gladiator or whatever in
I mean, for sci-fi
it's sci-fi too. Yeah.
Which is funny because he always references, for him, that's 2001: A Space Odyssey, right?
Like his favorite.
It
was so funny. You know, this is kind of like off topic a little, but you know how like they asked like celebrities on the red carpet like what their top four, like Letterboxd, like we'll ask them what their top four is. Yeah, Ridley Scott actually put Blade Runner.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. He's one of the only people that put his own film in there. Yeah, which again,
that's respect. No, if I made Blade Runner, I'd probably be flexing like that too, like for real, like because this is a gorgeous, just amazing movie, and So where was I? So I went home. I rewatched I watched for the first time all the Alien movies, and then when I shifted onto Blade Runner because, like I said, they're always discussed in tandem. So I was like, okay, since I'm watching Alien, let me check out Blade Runner. And you know what? The first time I saw it, I liked it, but I don't think I was really like floored by it. Really, like I was like, "Hey, this is cool," but I was like, I think I have that similar experience, and with like watching classics, a lot of things that are built up as classics, and that's Blade Runner was sort of the movie that made me realize that I need to watch like classic movies like at least more than once. I think the first time it kind of, because you're battling in your mind what you thought the movie was in your head versus what the movie actually is, and then I think once you watch it a second time, you kind of get over that. And I remember for whatever reason the scene, like even like the first time, the scene with Roy Batty in the villain of the film played by Rutger Hauer, when he's in the rain, for whatever reason that scene just kind of stuck up to me, and I rewatched it just individually on its own on YouTube. And I just see like the comments, people having all these sort of profound sort of sentiments about that scene. And they're just like, I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is interesting. Let me rewatch it. And then I would just end up like that whole year, I would end up watching it a couple of times. And then coincidentally enough, 2017 is also the same year that 2049 came out, the sequel. Like it just kind of matched up. I didn't watch Blade Runner to like prepare for the sequel. I just happened to watch it, but then as the sequel was coming close, I was like, okay, let me rewatch this movie again. So within that year, I might have seen this movie like 3 or 4 times. Like I went over to a friend's house and I showed it to him, and I just had a great experience with it. This is kind of also kind of funny too. This is not at all a dig at this movie, but kind of a compliment. This is a great movie to fall asleep to. Like it really is. I just love the
very dreamlike
atmosphere and the dreaminess to it. And I mean, even back then when I was, smoking kush and shit like that, like this would be kind of like that. But even as a sober, like the mood, the atmospheric mood to it, Vangelis's score is so like lullaby-ish. Like it like you can like kind of just drop out of this movie and then wake up at any moment and just get right into it. And this has that kind of feel to it that I just really, really enjoy. And so anyways, and since then this is a movie that every once in a while I kind of have to revisit, and my appreciation for it just grows deeper and deeper, honestly, with each watch. And like now that like we were kind of doing a show for it, I kind of learned a little bit more about the behind the scenes stuff that we'll get into later. And yeah, this is just amazing film. So who wants to take it away from me?
You came through with a hell of a banger pick for your first episode back. You didn't disappoint.
Thank you.
I surprisingly, this is like a movie confessional of mine. Like I only watched this for the first time, like in its entirety, not even a year ago.
Oh, wow.
My birthday last year in March, I had this, like I said, on Blu-ray. And I also had Denis Villeneuve's 2049, and I hadn't watched either of them. And we've been kind of going, I've been going maybe a little bit more harder than usual this past year, trying to make an effort to watch some things I've never seen, doing the show, and, just being very interested in kind of checking out like classics that, like you said, like making the effort in that sense. Mm-hmm. And it's one that I've owned for years. I just, and same with 2049, that I've never actually ended up watching. And I was like, you know what? It was kind of low key. I was like at home that night. I think it was either on my birthday or around my birthday. It may have been my birthday weekend. But I'm like, yeah, let's watch a movie. So I threw on Blade Runner. I finished it. Right away I watched 2049. Right after that, for the first time, I experienced both of the movies back to back. And I gotta tell you, on my first watch of both those films, I preferred this slightly more than 2049. But I will tell you the main difference. Now I've watched it twice in preparation for this talk, so I've watched it 3 times this past year, and I feel like I don't know if you had the same thoughts, but like it seemed like you were getting into that like a little bit, with like you had watched it the first time and you're like, yeah, it's good, it's fine, but you didn't really, you kind of kept revisiting it. Something kind of kept bringing you back. I think what the main difference is, not just to even compare those 2 films right out the gate, but I think the main difference is that this one, you're kind of focused so much on how this movie looks. It's quite possibly one of the best impressive looking movies I've ever seen. There's always something going, like smoke or lights or like shadows. Like it's masterful in terms of like doing all those kinds of things. I was telling Max today when he showed up, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm prepared enough or like well spoken enough to talk about this movie. Like that's like it's so well done from a technical standpoint that I spent most of the time kind of just like soaking that in the first watch. And then there's not much of a like 2049 in comparison has much more of a bigger story than this film. Like this film has a good story though, but you're so sucked in, like you said, about the atmospheric, like kind of like nature of the film. You're not really focused. Like they give you that huge chunk of information at the start about like the replicants and like what they did and how they got there and all that stuff. And again, I had to like watch that. Like I only really got the plot honestly on this second and third watch in terms of like speaking about it here today. Like I just thought it looked really cool and it was fun and it was cool to see everything. But I didn't really kind of like I didn't really kind of fall in love with the story or the plot until these viewings. The first time around, it went right over my head. I feel like
I think this is a movie I think rewards multiple viewings, and like I could,
because it's a great story. It's so light in terms of like some of the plotting or dialogue in certain scenes, but light in the sense that like there's so much going on that it's hard to focus on like what's happening in the storyline, at least for me. Like and now like upon like multiple viewings, I'm like, oh yeah, there is a lot there. But what's interesting about it is it's inspired so many movies that came after it. It's there's so much DNA in this film that I've seen in other movies. We were even
zoom in and enhance.
Yeah, it's insane. Like we were just talking about Fifth Element recently. How you said you've never seen that.
No, I have.
Oh, you have now. Yeah. Okay, now or when we spoke about it?
No, I saw the movie years ago, but I need to rewatch it.
That's with the redhead, right? With the one.
It's with Bruce Willis and
Again, that movie wouldn't exist without this film. Like, look at that movie, right? And there's all these kind of connective tissue with this, with comics as well, because Mobius, Jean-Giraud Mobius, the French artist, they took the look of the city from this thing that he did in a comic, Metal Hurlant, which is a French comic, which the Heavy Metal magazine then they brought over to American audiences, called The Long Tomorrow, which is based off of The Long Goodbye, the title, which is a hard-boiled detective novel from the 1950s by Raymond Chandler. And the look of the city and the futuristicness of like this futuristic kind of like Hong Kong with all the lights and the way that the people have the hats and like the flying cars. The look of this movie is like ripped right out of that comic.
Wow.
Like that artist. And that artist helped on the storyboards for The Fifth Element. That artist inspired another artist called Jeff Darrow, who became the storyboard artist, one of the few for The Matrix. Like there's all this connective tissue of things that this is directly inspired and spun out of this thing. And of course, this is based on the Philip K. Dick novel, Do Electric Sheep. Was it?
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
So like, it's just so cool even on that level. This is a super impressive film. Probably one of the best looking films I think we've talked about on this show from a technical standpoint. It's amazing.
When I was a kid, there was a cartoon that I was really into. You probably know it, Nico. Maybe you do too, Julie, called Samurai Jack.
Yep.
Where a samurai gets sent into like the future, and he's like, it's like in this futuristic city and stuff. And I guess the genre that all this belongs to is called cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess Blade Runner, I guess, is like the kind of like the visual kind of Bible for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Or I guess what you're describing predates that, right? The heavy metal stuff.
The comic,
and then
just
like
the look of this city.
And then Philip K. Dick's kind of is like one of the forefathers of this genre as well. So like all this stuff about like showing the future, but also showing like humanity kind of decaying at the same time, like, and also kind of there's like a criminal element and stuff, like drug dealers are also like around and stuff. There's just all this kind of like it's showing like low life still living in a futuristic society where like technology is kind of like up and everything. So I loved that cartoon growing up, and then I got a little bit older and I watched this anime, this really classic anime called you know this one, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
that has like, it's so Blade Runner coded. And so like watching Blade Runner, it kind of made me realize like, wow, I've been watching Blade Runner all my life, not even realizing it because of how much things it's kind of like spawned, like in everything, in games and movies, comic books, whatever, like The Matrix for sure. Yeah, RoboCop maybe even too, like just a bunch of stuff. Yeah, like
this is probably the most I've ever written down when it comes to movie pairings for any of our picks.
Yeah, you can just go on and on.
The vibes of this film are just again in everything, like in the sci-fi genre. Like you said, like Ridley Scott could have just made Alien in this film and never did another film again.
And he'd be like one of the greats.
He would be one of the most revered fucking directors.
He spazzed on this one. He's cooked.
I mean, like you said, you're going to talk about some of the stuff about him, like chatting, like during some of the documentary stuff that they did about the making of this film. It is just super impressive how in tune he is with how he wanted this film to look. Like it's so crazy, like the technical aspects of this film, pre-CGI, right? Pre-CGI for
pre-CGI, pre-digital, like all this, like, and that's actually kind of the kind of the sad thing about all this stuff is that it kind of honestly the ironic thing too about how as like technology is progressing and stuff, and filmmakers are kind of becoming more over-reliant on digital and kind of like CGI and all that stuff. They've kind of lost the sort of like the hunger to do like real craftsmanship work that they used to do on movies like this and like Star Wars and stuff like that. And that's like something that's really magical. And it sucks that has kind of like is not as pursued as much because it is just amazing. It's astounding. Just like even like what did this movie come out in 82? It still looks good. Like all these years later, it still looks like ahead of its time.
This
like
4K restoration, like it looks fantastic.
It's just like, beautiful. And
I mean, it's but yeah, what did you say when he came over? I told you, I'm like, the only thing that this movie rewatching this movie reminded me of is how much Hollywood sucks now.
That was crazy.
In the sense they will not take the time to craft something like this anymore. Like very rarely, like because of how much it costs. Like it costs more than I guess CGI even costs to some degree to do something of this nature.
Yeah, it does,
which is ridiculous. Even all the people involved that you have to pay, right? Like it's not that CGI is cheap, but like it's just so much easier, and then you lose so much as a result of not having that, like as having something like this of this nature where you got people constantly all day bringing smoke machines around and rain constantly coming down. Like the mood of this film is just, my God, it's amazing.
There's always something, like if you pause at any point in this movie, there's just so much detail in everything, like all the objects and stuff, and like that's the kind of the stuff that I just like. I always kind of take away. It's like even when Deckard goes into the that's the name of Harrison Ford's character. I think we should he goes into his the police captain's office, and the guy pours him a glass of like Johnny Walker Black, and the bottle doesn't look like a bottle of Johnny Walker Black. It looks kind of different, right? And like every like kind of object in this movie just has this kind of weird futuristic bend to it, and I kind of just gobble all that stuff up. Jay, Julie, do you guys want to give your thoughts on this stuff, on this movie?
Go ahead, Jay.
Besides it being older than me, I mean, as old as me, I don't have much in common with. I don't have much. I think I might have watched. It might have been in who knows. The family might have watched it like when I was younger, growing up, but I don't remember going back and watching this ever. To be honest with you, so I have no recollection of this movie when it came to watching.
This was your first time watching it?
It was basically, I mean, it might have been on, but like I remember vaguely like Harrison Ford at that time, at that age. But yeah, it just never really had crossed my radar or did anything for me. I remember more, Indiana Jones and stuff like that with Harrison Ford as opposed to this one, right? So yeah, but it was an interesting watch. There is a lot of interesting things that they do in here that remind me of other things that are out there and that they're doing now. And it's just funny because of the time dates and stuff that they have in this one, right? Because it throws you right off, knowing the time we're living in right now, right?
Yeah, so you guys remember 2019, right? When we had replicants and shit
we had
running around
cars and shit like that.
Cars
that
the Raptors just won the championship.
Yeah.
Maybe half the team was replicants, that's why we won. But I don't know, but like it's kind of crazy that like we've kind of caught up to the future in that sense. But like I guess the thing that is, sorry, Julie, go ahead. What do you think about Blade Runner?
So I probably saw this for the first time like ballpark, like maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably seen it twice before now, like before watching it for the show. But yeah, I would have seen it like first time probably about 10, maybe even 15 years ago, but I want to say it was more like 10 years ago. I remember like really liking it for the first time. And then I think it was just like on the second time I watched it, was just like on TV, and it was like kind of idle background stuff. I do agree with what you're saying. It's like, it's kind of like so dreamlike and kind of like you could fall asleep to this movie. Like I agree with that. And I think that the things that I found, like for this time, like watching it back and then going over it with like a more fine-tooth comb to be like with the mind of like criticism for the show, right? Mm-hmm. The only things I really had beef with were just like the dialogue pacing. Sometimes it's just like sometimes they picked secondary characters that just were not very good, and it's kind of obvious against like your main cast. Mm-hmm. But like I don't have that much beef with anything else. I will say this time I watched it with the American gang, which is like Parth and all of his friends, and nice. 2 of them or 3 of them had not seen it ever. 2 of them are film bros and love this movie a lot, and nice. I found out once we finished, one of them was like, so I misunderstood and I thought this movie was Blade, and completely did not fucking understand what the hell we were watching.
That's what JT watched in preparation.
No. I typed it in.
I think he was
I typed it in. No. But I didn't. I think he told me, and I kept forgetting. Because I kept... Go on.
Why do you think he perked up when you said that you could fall asleep to this? I'm pretty sure that's what he ended up.
He probably does that with every shit. I was
throwing.
one of our first time
not on the bathroom floor though. Like,
but I was throwing out hints at you.
I watched it while I was sleeping. It was all right.
That's why I watched Ridley Scott.
I listened to it. Remember the time he's like, I listened to it.
I was there, bro. It was like crazy. Like all my picks too. This guy's such a jerk.
The ones that had seen it before, the film bros were like fucking fantastic, like whatever, just they loved it. The ones that hadn't seen it for the first time, one of them did fall asleep. One of them felt completely misled because thought we were watching Blade. The other one was it seemed as though like the movie like that they had been given this impression that it was going to be a lot more action heavy than it was. Like it ended up being very neo-noir kind of thematically, and I don't know if they like watched a trailer or something and thought that it was going to be more action vibe, or if it was the same kind of Blade confusion. But
some romantic in there too.
I mean, it's important to notice that like this movie like flopped at the box office. Like it didn't really perform well, and I think a lot of people, and even since it's come out, I see like it is kind of like a mixed bag. Some people, you either like really love this movie, or then you have problems with it or whatever.
Yeah,
and I think people, they look at the poster and they see Harrison Ford gripping a gun and they think this is going to be like a really action heavy kind of movie.
One of them said, "Why is it called Blade Runner? It should be called Gunwalker."
Yeah, that was the joke back then. Like critic, I think there was a critic that said, why is it called Blade Runner? It should be called Blade Crawler.
Blade Runner is supposed to be. He's a hitman.
He's like the hunters of the replicant, or whatever, the police unit that do that. He's
like a private eye who's hired to basically take people out, though, like a hitman, essentially. Yeah, that's what a Blade Runner is.
He's like a special police unit, I would say. Like Hitman sounds like more
Ridley
like
Scott
assassin.
has said Hitman.
Oh,
himself.
okay.
Yeah, or in more recent years, though. So
Yeah.
I think having Vangelis score the movie was a fucking brilliant idea. They could not have picked a better person to do that. That's amazing.
It's one of my favorite scores.
Like
you guys are score bros.
We are.
That's the thing that I
never heard that term before, but I like that score bro.
Back in the days where it was Vangelis, Giorgio Moroder, and fucking Wendy Carlos or whatever.
Giorgio Moroder, I like. I know his stuff.
But it's all kind of like they're all this sort of synth wave kind of.
Yeah.
No, it was sick.
I love that stuff.
Big heads, right? So
you guys like tap into that more so than I do. I feel
it's kind of
like,
hard to avoid though in this movie because I feel like the music is so like
big part
of what you're liking about it, and like the mixture of like
it's so funny that they like basically they took the same kind of neo-noir like vibe that they're like, okay, it would be more like a detective movie if there was some saxophone here, but then they put in kind of a synth sax. I'm like, I did it perfect. So that kind of that really sticks out for me. I also love that this is our first iteration of zoom in and enhance. That's where that comes from. It's this movie.
Oh, when he's like scanning the photograph.
I literally put in my notes the best enhancement scene of all time. Like
this is where it started.
Yeah, I figured that was. Is that confirmed? Because that's what I was going to ask you guys. Okay,
where are they going?
It's literally what started that joke.
That is so ridiculous. Part, right? He finds like depth into a photo that
and I was like, when we were watching, I was like, sorry guys, but not to be the photographer nerd, but this does not fucking work. Possible. I just want you all to know.
Go into the room, even though we don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This would never work.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. Is he scanning the photograph, or does the scanner let him scan the room beyond what the photograph captured?
There's no way he would have been able to.
But what I'm saying is that the technology letting him do that? Like
it's this and Enemy of the State for the most ridiculous enhancements that I've ever seen, which we talked about on the show.
I forget that one.
It's so ridiculous the enhancement in that movie. They figure out like what's in the bag based on shadows or something like that back in like the 2000s. Or something.
The only thing that kind of like pissed me off about this movie, it just like it doesn't even piss me off that much, but it's just like a standout thing that I was like, this guy's like not that great. The guy that plays fucking the toy maker guy, JF or whatever his name is.
Yeah, JF Sebastian.
Yeah. He's just kind of like,
oh, that's my
guy.
No,
he's just kind of like a bad actor a little bit. He's like the dialogue felt really stilted to me from him. It was a little bit too much Tommy Wiseau that it stood out to me that I was like, oh shit. Tommy. Yeah, like it was just a little.
You're tearing me apart. You're comparing him to that guy.
It was just a sprinkling. It's probably just autistic. I don't know, but like whatever. They could get away with it and be like, this guy just has the tism. It's fine.
Well, one of the replicants himself did definitely. Like you could tell that guy was a little dull. Let's say.
Oh, you're talking about Leon?
Yes.
I think like Daryl Hannah has this kind of androgynous sort of quality to her at the beginning. She's a very square head or something.
No, people have been saying that about Daryl for like years. That she kind of like looks very masculine. Like
I only like just picked up on it on this rewatch, and I was like, she kind of like she just has a really square jaw or something.
Yeah.
But
the look of that character is iconic, though. Like,
The
look of that when she spray paints her eyes and
an electric shock hairdo that she's got.
Amazing look, like with the fishnet like look that she has, and the wig that fucking becomes all like distorted. Also, when I picked up on this watch, that flailing around on the ground is basically what she does in Kill Bill. Exactly. I never noticed that until this watch.
I watched like
that's purposeful, very purposeful.
I watched
he loves this movie.
A video that like it was capturing all the references in Kill Bill, and then they like called back to Blade Runner.
Did you notice that, Julie?
When she flails on the ground. Trailer,
I didn't peg that when we were watching it, but like it makes sense now that you say it.
She gets both of her eyes ripped out and she's like freaking out and flailing on the ground. It's basically what she does when she gets shot in this.
For sure. I didn't catch it when we were watching it. I wasn't thinking about it, but now that you say it, it's like it's like
crazy.
But you tapped into like what I really like about this movie, Blade Runner. Julie, about this movie is like the combination of like these sort of old, like hard-boiled detective kind of tropes and archetypes that they mix in this like futuristic setting.
God, it's so vibey. It's juicy with vibes.
You kind of get it everywhere. Like with Harrison Ford, he's like this kind of like he's just like that character you've always seen where he's like that lonely kind of detective who like maybe drinks too much, but like is really good at his job. And like maybe the only thing that he's good at, right? And then Sean Young comes in with like this sort of like the sexy kind of secretary kind of thing with her lipstick, and They're smoking. I love when people
and then her
smoke.
fucking her weird hairdo, and then she lets it down, and you're like, oh shit, it's happening now.
Because they're all like rolled up cigarettes too. They're all fat, fat fucking rolled up.
Just the way the smoke looks and stuff, and it's
back
just
when they used to actually smoke cigarettes in movies.
And just like the city itself is like such a character. Like how I mean, I guess the movie is describing a future where replicate, like I guess corporations have figured out a way to like successfully clone human beings, and like all these like replicants are popping up, and there's just such a miserable sort of like cloud over everyone's face. Like you could just kind of see the way they're just walking around with their heads down. It's always raining, which I feel like is maybe like, I don't know, like maybe like some biblical symbolism there too.
This
like
is
kind of
our future, dude. This is ChatGPT the movie.
No, that's what I'm saying is like the thing about great like sci-fi is that like it is kind of like a window into the future, but I feel like it reflects the present as well. Like you could imagine people like even in the 80s kind of feeling like this, living in cities, not really, people are kind of so disconnected with one another, and there's like there's just all these kind of like misery in the air and stuff. And
Well,
I like but you're right about.
I like what you said about Ridley though, about how like his vision of the future is that it's like dirty and dingy and like lived in, and that's basically what he did on Alien as well. Like and movies like Star Wars did that as well. Like I saw some clip of him and some of the stuff I saw like behind the scenes stuff where he talked about that. He's like, a lot of these structures wouldn't hold up in the future. Like they would get to this point where we could not keep up with these things structurally.
That was really interesting when he was talking about the Empire State Building and stuff. I thought that was really cool.
So his idea for the future, like he said, in so many other futuristic films around that period of time, their idealistic future is everything's clean and nice and shiny and advanced.
Sanitized.
This is run down and broken and dirty and rain all the time and all these toxins in the air. That's I love that.
I think that's a big reason why a movie like this didn't succeed. I think it's just too grim of a vision at that time. And Harrison Ford, who was like known for like more upbeat movies, I guess, like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and now he's in this movie that's not really like about that at all. I noticed too, and I saw, like, I was reading a lot about this movie. I noticed too, both in Alien and in Blade Runner, the true villains of those movies are like the corporations like behind them. Like in Alien, it's like the Weyland-Yutani or whatever.
Yutani.
And in this, it's the Tyrell Corporation, who basically have kind of like, well, I guess it's just making like a metaphor of how like corporations kind of like spearhead us into like unwanted like futures and stuff like that because of their fucking
like Julie says. I mean, there's real life
Chat,
stuff like
Chat
going
GPT,
on,
yeah.
right? Well, in terms of sentience, even right, because in this is replicants, but in Alien synthetics.
In synthetics,
right.
yeah, it's like, almost similar
it's
thing.
Very similar.
And
what were you gonna say, Jay?
I was gonna say that no, even with just the AI itself and that too, it's not that I heard something on the radio the other day. Discussion about the technology. It's not that we don't have the technology. It's we don't have the horsepower right now, like to keep it all running under one thing. You know what I mean? Like using the internet, using the Wi-Fi for everybody. It's
not even that, dude. It uses so much water. We're gonna run out of water.
Yeah,
stuff like that. You know.
Every time, I think someone told me, like, every time you use ChatGPT, it's like a liter of water per search or whatever. I was
all
like,
this crypto stuff, all
crazy.
That stuff, all that data mining type shit or whatever it's called. I don't know if it's data mining, but
you just kind of wonder
farming and all that.
Crypto farming, yeah.
You kind of wonder what's all that kind of, what is the end result of that other than our like destruction, basically, our self-destruct. Like we're kind of doing this to ourselves, or we're allowing those guys to do it, you know, and not really kind of protesting that in a real way.
And they're basically
we were already sort of hurtling towards like future wars are going to be fought over like drinkable water,
resources. Basic resources. Like, you know,
that's what Dune is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. A big theme in Blade Runner is sort of like the total kind of like erosion of like all the natural world. Like there's no animals anymore because they've all I guess gone extinct. And so now all the animals are kind of fake and stuff, and they've all been kind of genetically modified, just like the replicants are. And I guess so like everyone's living in these cities. Even you have to think like this movie takes place in Los Angeles, and it looks nothing like what you think Los Angeles, like sort of dry sort of ecosystem or whatever, and it's completely raining all the time. Like Los Angeles is not known to be like that kind of a rainy place. The buildings look more like you said, New York, Hong Kong.
It looks like Hong Kong.
It's like a mixture of all. It's actually
because apparently downtown Hong Kong looks like this now.
Like,
in terms of like all the neon lights and like the street vendors.
But there's a very like globalist kind of feeling from the city where it's like you have the Asian influence, but then like I guess when they get into the whole like what's that place called, the Taffy? When remember he goes into that club.
Yes.
To look for Zora, the snake woman or whatever. Yes. It has more like a Middle Eastern kind of tinge to it. And like
because he's walking through and it feels like he's in Aladdin or something.
Yeah.
Street vendors are like there's like animals there, wild animals.
I feel like the whole city of LA is almost like a metaphor for the entire human population. Is kind of just congregated.
It's like a bazaar, but in the bazaar, I meant like the street vendors and the like.
Yeah.
No, but you're right.
Oh, bazaar. Yeah. Marketplace.
But here's the thing, though. They make mention of it later in the film. There's talk about why when they say R.F. Sebastian, they say, oh, it's because you're sick, you got left behind on Earth.
Yeah.
There's refuge elsewhere.
Yeah.
This Earth is like, I feel like almost like where the poor live.
That's like, exactly right. Yeah.
It's the upper class do not live on Earth.
Off-world is where you want to be in this world. Yeah.
But again, the fact that they just throw that in a piece of dialogue later in the film, this is what I meant by light on story. It's not that it's light on story. There's just the way that the information is kind of put together and dispersed throughout the film. The delivery of it, like Julie was saying, it's like some of it, you have to watch it more than once to get it. Where Blade Runner 2049 is all story in that one in action. Yeah. It's the total opposite of it in tone.
In the opening crawl they make references to Off-World. Basically the reason why they needed replicants was for slave labor
on another planet,
on other planets and stuff.
But again, in the scroll they explain all that.
But also when you first see Deckard and he's reading the newspaper, he looks up and there's a blimp. And it says there's like announcing Off-World, like join the. Yeah. It's almost like a travel agency, like to go Off-World.
Right.
You remember that? Like
the Asian woman who's talking on the news bulletin, kind of on the blimp.
Was it an Asian woman that was like?
Well, later on it is. Maybe not.
There's just a sign that says join the Off-World colonies. Like here's your chance to win, basically a paradise. And it's like Earth has kind of been like the toilet bowl of the fucking galaxy.
It's so hard to like soak all that in on a first watch.
Yeah, that is
really
true.
is.
But that I think makes the film like a rewarding experience in that sense. That you can kind of keep like digging at it. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. The big kind of like key word of the movie is like empathy, because they have this machine, the Voight Kampff machine, that like they can test the decipher who is a replicant and who is a human based on like emotional responses from their questions. And I guess the kind of the objective here, or I guess what they're saying here, is that like the replicants lack empathy, whereas humans have it. But it's kind of funny in the story, if you really pay attention, the human beings are kind of, or who we think are human beings, because I don't think the movie actually makes it clear who is and who isn't human.
Well, you gotta save that for unanswerable questions later.
But you can see human beings, like there's like two kinds of like forms of slavery being depicted in this movie. You have the replicants who are actual physically slaves, like they've gone off-world to do all this labor work. And then you have the rest of humanity who I think are like in a mental slavery, just based on how they walk around and their way of life. Yeah. Even Deckard is a slave to his job. He doesn't want to miserable, doesn't want to even do his job. But then the boss is telling him like, you're little people, like you. Like, if you don't do this job, we're just gonna like fuck with you or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what the threat was.
If I call on you, you come. Like, I can basically.
And this is, it's such a description of like real life, where people just they don't do what they want to do with their lives a lot of the time. They're just living in these cities and they're working these shitty jobs they don't want to work. I mean, I speak that from personal experience,
life
for sure. It's just it's life, and it's like
it's a very relevant film. It's very relevant to today's times.
I think like the kind of brilliant sense of irony within the story is that the replicants, they want light, they want to be human, they want more like individuality, they want to break free from that. But the human beings are going like in the opposite way, like who have their humanity. they're going the opposite way. And
the person that says the most beautiful thing in terms of a reflection of life is the replicant at the end of the film.
He's like the most human character,
that
ironically.
leaves Deckard literally like jaw to the floor, like stunned of like what he basically said and his outlook on things. How like he's sitting there like, you know, like about how beautiful life is, and you guys don't basically appreciate like what you have, right? And you're telling me I can't live, like, right? So it's deep meaning, for sure.
Well, like earlier, I was talking about how like real animals don't exist in this world, and people don't really have any more interaction with the natural world anymore in this city, in this story. But if you notice when they administer the void comp test, when they administrate the like, are you a replicant or not? All the questions are like based on like scenarios with animals. I don't know if you picked up on that, but they're always like, oh, you're walking in a desert and you see a tortoise, or when
What's a tortoise?
Yeah. You've ever heard of a turtle, right? And then when there's two scenes when the test is administered. First in the opening when Leon gets tested and he fucks that up, but then Deckard does it to Rachel, and all the questions are about like animals. They're almost all of them are like, oh, you someone gives you a cat skin wallet, what would you do? And then the spider crawls up your arm, and there's all these like
kill it.
Even the questions themselves feel kind of weirdly like hypnotic, almost like they're just like placed in random scenarios or whatever. They feel kind of weird, the test. But they're basing their empathy based on like scenarios involving animals. Like, how would you treat
their emotional responses?
Their emotional responses based on how they would like react to like animals. And it's just interesting because animals don't really exist in this world anymore.
But did they even ask them about humans? No, it was just more about the animals.
There was some scenes, like remember he asked her, you see like it's one of my favorite lines. That's my favorite line in the movie, and she's like, am I this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian?
Yeah,
like,
I have that written down. Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite. But like, yeah, there were some, but I just noticed so much of the questions were like about animals, like, oh, the tortoise, the
you know what? They can lie about humans too, right? If they really wanted to. I think maybe it's just throwing them off by asking them about the about the animal thing. But it makes sense.
The thing that I was trying to say was that like the animals are kind of gone in the world, and I think the point of that was to say that also the empathy is also kind of gone in this world. It's like they're kind of connected in that sense, because animals are like they're giving that connection with the empathy. Like the questions are all animal tinted, I guess. Is my point that I was trying to make. And so I don't know. There's so much stuff you can like look at this movie and just think about. Like just it inspires so much like random thoughts in my brain about like, oh wow, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is the range? Like even the opening scene when you see like he shows the city of LA, and then you see like fire, and it looks like a fucking hellscape. And
a few of them, no?
Yeah, and what I thought that was is I guess it's an oil refinery, but in my mind, what I thought that shit was like a replicant factory. I guess that's where they're making the replicants, and that's like the byproduct waste.
Maybe
that's just like my little theory in my head. And like this is almost like the humans are unleashing this like ungodly fire into the world, and there's like a lot of like God's judgment, and I think it's like that's why all the rain is happening. Is like people have kind of described this movie as kind of like a Noah's flood kind of parable, I guess, where there's this just constant rain. It's like God is like angry at human beings for creating this kind of like invention of other, like basically the whole like transhumanism story is human beings kind
going
of
against God
by replacing them as God. Like I'm the creator, I'm making human other like copies of human beings and stuff, and like I mean that's like what Frankenstein is about, and there's like all this kind of like that's like a very like
against God's creation, basically.
God, and then literally Roy Batty is kind of like the Frankenstein character when he comes up and he visits Tyrell, and like there's that kind of he meets his creator kind of, and there's just there's so much good stuff in here. Well, does anybody else have anything?
I basically just, again, it's really just more comments on like the look of things, like the Tyrell Corporation headquarters, the whole thing. You know, I a little bit in that behind the scenes thing, they talked about how he came in, Ridley Scott, that day, and they put the pillars the right way you would put a pillar, and he's like, no, I didn't want the pillars that way. I want them flipped upside down, so like you see the bottom of the pillar. That's why, like you said, like everything is specific to the way he wanted to make it look. Like even that mug in the scene where he shot the guy Leon at the start, he made the prop guy had to go through like 100 mugs or whatever.
It was
like,
almost like Stanley Kubrick, like
the bottles, like the glasses are square, like just like the design that went into like, and he was very hands-on in the sense he knew exactly what he wanted everything to kind of look like, or he wanted to explore different options of how he wanted to make everything kind of look unique. So yeah, the pillars, the gold sheen, that whole owl, the sun rising in the background of that scene. You know, the look of the replicants is all very striking and interesting looking.
The way their eyes glow and stuff. It's a nice
same thing with the animals with the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
another practical effects thing that like they wouldn't even do that anymore.
I think the glowing of the eyes is like, I don't think they see that in the world, like in their universe. I think that's like an indication to the audience that they're replicants, because every time you would see like a replicant's eyes glow, that's not an indicator like that they would, because then why would they need to do the test if they see their eyes glowing, right? I think that's just kind of like a key to the audience, like, oh, this person is a replicant or whatever.
But it's just another thing, like another neat like nod to like practical effects.
Yeah, I've
glorified lie detection test.
I'm sure, Julie, you know about all that matted painting. What is it called? Matte painting. Do you know that? MATTE.
Yeah.
You say that word.
Like matte color.
Matte painting. It's like where instead of having a background, they would paint the background, so it like creates the illusion that the environment is like farther away than they actually did it. If you read the Wikipedia article about matte painting, the first example they use is the Indiana Jones cargo scene, where remember when he pulls the cargo and there's like, it looks like it's like miles stretching. That background is a painting, so it doesn't. It's not actually like cargo. It's just like
not reflecting any light. It's giving the illusion of depth.
And they did that a lot in this movie.
That's what they did for the sunset.
That's what they did for the sunset.
I was wanted to know specifically how they did stuff like that.
That's what they did for the sunset. That's what they did for a lot of the background buildings when it looks like stuff.
Super impressive. I mean, it's just so cool looking. And that's the thing. Like now, like nothing looks like that because they don't do that anymore.
They would
seeing something that's technically more simple, let's say, by today's standards, is actually more impressive watching it now, sorta, because you're like so not to see that technology or way that
there's like a real engineering involved that it makes you think like, oh wow, this is kind of like, how do people even sit and think of stuff like this? It's amazing.
His apartment is really cool. Like even just all the pictures on the wall, and the way things are, that balcony that he has that kind of you can see over the city, the candles in the final scene when you go to Tyrell's bedroom and he has those long candles on a candelabra in that scene, so like the only light in the room when he comes in is kind of being taken from that centerpiece, like just all this stuff. Like
I like the diversity in the sets. Like every set looks completely different than the last one.
Something interesting to look at, right? That's why, like 3 times watching this movie, I can't get enough of it. Honestly, in terms of that, like, that aspect of it, it was only on the 3rd watch where I'm like, you know what, I got to buckle down and write out the plot of this film because it is still like not sinking into the like degree where I'd like it to. But now I get it. Like I get everything that happened.
There was also composite photography where they would like superimpose, like they would film a scene and then they would superimpose like another background on top of it, so it looks like they just did all these weird stuff. They had miniatures, like the pyramid is like not a like it's not a scale pyramid. It's actually like an 8-foot thing. And
well, they did that in Elf too, I think.
Did they?
With the levels of like, it looks like he's really big, towering over people, but they put the viewpoints of isn't that right, Julie? How they kind of set that up? Yeah, it's the way they make it look like
he's perspective and split diopter filming.
I mean,
even the kid's like far away from him, but they make it look like they're beside him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But the Tyrell pyramid is what I get like impressed with. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not a real building, right? Like, and then they show it's like a miniature
like Luxor in Vegas.
You know what they did? They created this box And then
it's a prop, right? Like that they just filmed.
Yeah, like you could fit it on this
like
table.
Godzilla, like
exactly, like that, like a miniature, and you could probably fit it on this table.
I assume that was the case with that one.
And then you know what they did? They put a light in it, just one light, and then they like carve out where the windows are so that the light would shine out. And it's just like watching this in that doc
fucking cool
is amazing. The same thing with the fire, the fires that beam out of the sky. They're just little like miniatures or whatever, and they film it. One of the sickest ones I saw was the it's actually on the poster, the police station roof. You know, when the car goes on the police station roof, what they did was they couldn't get the camera high enough to get the angle on the miniature, so they actually like put tilted it on an angle, and so that they could film it.
It's
so sick.
That's so cool.
It's so sick. Like I was just like, and I don't really have like that mind for engineering or mechanic, like all this stuff, but I respect it like so much.
The one of the big players in this movie that we don't talk about enough, I feel like, on this show is the DP, the director of photography. He plays a huge part in this film. And in that documentary, they talked about how, like, as time went on, he, by the last month of production, he had Parkinson's, and he ended up in a wheelchair the last month of production on this like film. And then Ridley Scott like still wanted to actively work with this guy because he just believed like in the work he was doing, and like it just made it very difficult for him and obviously them to navigate this situation because the guy was getting progressively worse with Parkinson's during the filming of this. Like that was crazy to find out. And just like the fact that like I saw like some footage of him working on the set and stuff like that, like doing the photography and stuff like that. I don't know this world. I don't know these things. Like for Julie, I'm sure like this is probably like you're getting off to this film.
I normally don't research this kind of stuff either, but watching that Dangerous Days thing, like
I gotta watch the whole
please
thing.
Watch it. Like I was watching it and I was like, whoa, this is really interesting.
I think that this is a movie for filmmaking nerds. I think that's what this is.
I can understand.
Absolutely. This is kind of like a Bible, like for some people. Like
I can respect it.
I think that for people that just like casually watch movies and are not really into like the behind the scenes shit, it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. They did, like, there's like a society of visual, like American Society of Visual Effects or whatever. There's like this like organization or whatever, and they made a list of top 50 most impressive like films that have like special effects or whatever. And Blade Runner ranked number 2, like of all time. Blade Runner ranked number 2.
It's
only behind the first Star Wars, like of just like, whoa, like I can't believe they did this, like kind of thing.
Ahead of its time,
yeah,
like, in the sense that they were able to like pull everything off that they did. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and the city itself, they said that they shot it on like an actual a soundstage in Warner Brothers Studios. But again, like something that he chose to do to make it not look like the sound set like you would normally in these type of films, is that they constantly were shooting it at night and
with
then
rain and smoke
and rain.
Yeah,
it's just again, just like. And he, like I was telling Max this earlier, the way Ridley Scott came off in this documentary, I don't think of him that way in that sense these days, because the way he churns out films, and maybe he's just got like a super shorthand. But he's so particular in the documentary about like his like there was some issues between some people, let's say, on the set too, because of like in terms of his demands, because he's very hands on. He's, as a director, he's the type of guy that wants to do everything. He has the artistic vision for it. He knows exactly what he wants out of everything. He doesn't expect that of other people. Unlike every other director that Harrison Ford that was really good at that time, Spielberg, George Lucas, Coppola, that he worked with in the conversation. Yeah, up to this point, they're all very collaborative directors. He is not collaborative, apparently, in this film.
Well,
to a degree.
They explained the reason why. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was more hands-on with Sean Young as far as the acting goes, and he kind of left Harrison Ford. And then Sean Young was saying because she was kind of like, this was, I guess, her first, not her first role, but like one of her
very
first
early,
roles, early on in her career. And really just kind of just assumed that Harrison Ford could just kind of figure it out. Kind of like, I guess he just had that idea in him that, oh, you're good. Like, you know this. This is not your
Harrison
first radio.
apparently didn't like that.
He didn't like that, yeah. Harrison Ford actually didn't like
this experience, the whole shoot,
because it's an uncomfortable
Yeah.
shoot. You're in rain and
Yeah.
you're like, it's just a very
apparently
judgy
everything
experience.
was mildewy and they had to keep changing clothes because of all the rain and all the scenes, like because they were just sopping wet.
Remember the scene when Roy and Leon, they go into that eye lab or whatever?
That is literally in a freezer.
It's in a
that scene.
freezer.
It's a real freezer.
And they could only film that for
Half
like
an hour,
20
they were
minutes.
saying,
Yeah, like
yeah.
something like that, or else the cameras would like freeze up
Logged
or whatever.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
It's crazy, like the level of commitment. Even the actor who was playing that, he's actually a famous guy.
He's in lots of things.
I know. I always recognize his
Boy?
voice. He's from Kung Fu Panda, the father.
He's in
Oh,
lots.
James
Hong.
Hong or Chung?
Hong.
Hong, yeah, James Hong.
He's in lots of stuff.
He's in lots of stuff. Yeah, you've always seen him.
He was the first person I recognized when I watched it the first time.
he was like, wow, this is like the extent you guys are going for a scene that's only going to be like 3 minutes long. Is this is so unnecessary, and it was really uncomfortable for him too. So, yeah, it was just the level of dedication, which is what Nico's getting at, is like next level. Like, yeah, I don't think Ridley Scott ever really kind of went to these levels to make a movie like.
Nor would the studio allow something like
yeah,
this
you know he
anymore.
got fired. You know he got fired towards the end of making this movie. Like,
No.
yeah, because it went over budget, it went over schedule, all that stuff. They fired him, and then he would just work on the rest of the movie for free, like the rest of the post production and stuff. And there was also like a lot of like back and forth between him and the financiers. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are many versions of this movie that exist, and one of them, the one that was
like
originally
3
released,
different cuts. I think.
7.
Is it that
7.
many? I thought it was like 3
I
or
heard
4.
of the theatrical one.
The one that came out in theaters.
I watched the final cut.
I bet we've
That's
all
only-
watched different versions of the fucking movie.
No, you don't have to. The final cut is the only one people ever need to see. Like, that is Blade Runner.
I don't know which one I watched.
Yeah, you probably watched the final cut, because I think the other ones are kind of like harder. Like, you would have to go out of your way to find
There's a
them.
director's cut, there's a theatrical cut, there's a final
There's
cut.
like
Two
two
different endings.
versions of the theatrical cut. One that was like
Yeah.
American, and the one that's like international.
Yeah, because I heard there's one that's like very artsy, and then there's one that isn't. Like
So-
they explain things more or something.
So
one of
in the
them, right?
original American theatrical cut, the one that was released in '82, this is like he was fighting the financiers with all this stuff. They wanted a happy ending. They wanted like him and so they wanted like I guess like maybe they thought people couldn't understand the story, so there's like a lot of voiceover, but kind of like how there is in those detective stories anyways. You know how like there is voiceover in those kind of movies. So it's like Harrison Ford like explaining like, oh, I didn't know that, whatever, right? And like there's this funny scene. You're gonna laugh when you watch Dangerous Days. There's this funny scene after Roy Batty dies, and he delivers that beautiful speech about like the tears in the rain and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a voiceover like explaining the whole thing from Harris's POV, and Frank Darabont, who got interviewed for that documentary, who did the Shawshank Redemption, he was just complaining about like, what the F is that garbage doing in the movie? Terrible. But you know what? Funny enough, there are people who do like that in the movie. Like Guillermo del Toro was saying
heard some people
that he likes that. So there was voiceover. There was a happy ending where Rachel and what's my man's name? Rick. They drive into the countryside. Rick Deckard, they drive into the countryside.
You saw that one, Julie?
No, but I know about that one.
Yeah, you know, and he's explaining how everything's gonna be okay. It's like it was so not in tune with the rest of the movie.
So I mean, I haven't seen those versions to judge, but I've only seen the final cut, and I love the way it ends because that synthy music pops in where he just sees that unicorn. They dip. He just like goes out the door. He's like, well, they're on the run. You know, they're gone.
You know what the thing is? You know what? This is a movie you really could just like sit down and discuss like a bunch of stuff with it, because I think Ridley was really like going for like a very like ambiguous. How do you say that fucking word? I'm having ambiguous.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ambiguous sort of like feeling to it, and like not everything has to be understood or explained. Like the financiers did it. Like the producers of the movie, they were like, "What the fuck are you putting this unicorn scene in there for? Like, what is that doing there?" And then they took it out of the original theatrical cut. That's not in there.
Really?
The unicorn scene, and they were like,
it was a dream sequence at that point.
it was like a dream sequence, but it's like
that's right. We can talk about that at length when we get to the questions.
We'll get to it.
That's a big part, and that's why some people don't like 2049 because they further explore some of these ideas. They don't. Again, they don't.
We could get into like 2049.
They don't
later
definitively talk about like what he is still, but they do dance around it in a certain fashion, right? I also like 2049 for the record. I like 2049 a lot. It's Denis Villeneuve, of course. It's really good. Like, but different movie.
What was I going at? Yeah, and then in 10 years later, even what's crazy is like the movie still became a cult classic, even though it was totally butchered. Like so much of it was kind of like
so many of these things are though. True genius is not recognized in its time.
But like
though,
you can't deny
right?
deny the actual like what we've been like praising about the movie, the actual atmosphere that's still in the movie, right? So then 10 years later, midnight screenings get sold out, and people are Blade Runner fans and stuff. So then the studios kind of realized that, and they're like, okay, Ridley, make a director's cut. But the director's cut is still not like 100% spearheaded by Ridley Scott. So even though it's called the director's cut, it wasn't 100% his vision. I think like the music wasn't like in the place that it should have been or whatever. It wasn't only until 2007, which is like the 25th anniversary of this film, that he finally got to go in the cutting room floor and make the vision of Blade Runner that he wanted to make, and that is Blade Runner: The Final Cut. It's like the true direct. It's the only version I think anyone should ever watch, unless you want to watch watch the other ones just for like.
It's the one that's most out there.
It is. I think if you watch it on Netflix or Prime or wherever you're watching it,
you really got to seek out the other versions.
I think unless you want to be like kind of just as curiosity, check out the other versions. The Final Cut is the only one. The only version of Blade Runner that exists in my mind. The other ones, they could get wiped out in the great blackout that's supposed to happen in the Blade Runner universe. I don't know what, 2030 or whatever or something. And yeah,
it's crazy. And they thought the world was going to end in 2000.
29. You know what? It kind of did though, remember? Because that's like 2 months before COVID, like 2019 and shit. Like when this movie takes place.
Yeah, it is kind of.
It is kind of like, I don't know if you guys buy into that whole like predictive programming thing. This is kind of like conspiracy theory, like where they hide the future in like Hollywood movies and stuff. But I don't know, they do. Sometimes they do.
Right. So,
is there any other like general topics that people want to kind of get off their chest before we?
I have nothing else to add. I don't know about Julie, but I just other than that, I just got the scenes that I want to discuss.
Okay,
Julie, do you have anything else or?
No, nothing that hasn't already been said.
Yeah, sorry if I'm even yelling more than usual here, but I'm clearly.
Oh, you're passionate, bro. I love it.
I'm clearly like enthusiastic about chatting about this here today because it's still very new to me. It's still very new.
Like I want to watch like even though we're like you kind of like sometimes when we do these movies and after we do the show, you kind of just move on from it. I want to watch this movie again tomorrow, like on the 4K thing. That. Like I kind of just want to go back to it. Like
Jay really wants to see it for the first time tomorrow. During
watching it, as opposed to listening to it.
Wow, you guys really sold me on it.
But no, you sold me on the rewatch
listening
part.
to it, passed out on the bathroom floor.
No, I because I can understand Nico's perspective too.
It was all right.
The first time, I kind of just
I watched this half consciously.
But you know what I mean about not thinking about it and just watching it for the first time, and it was kind of like, whatever.
Especially for someone like you, Jay.
That's what I was gonna ask.
It's hard to like soak it all in.
No.
Really,
I mean, what I'm curious about is this. Jay, I know you are a huge like sci-fi guy. Does this kind? But then I remember you said you're picky about your sci-fi. Does this kind of lean into?
Does this appeal to your sci-fi taste?
No, I mean,
where is that right?
It does fall in between a lot of things that I've watched and or style of programming or movie or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it is like a sci-fi. I liked it. I enjoyed it for that aspect, but because it was such an older film, and maybe like sometimes technology fucking gets the best of me at that point, right? In that sense, where it's like if I could have watched this a little better in the sense of newer version.
Did you watch it on your phone?
No, I watched it on the TV.
Okay,
yeah,
at least you did that.
TV, right? Yeah. I just shared it to the TV. It's not
I was about to say, no, I know, because I think this is a movie you need to see on.
Oh man, I would love to watch this on IMAX, bro. One day, that would be.
I don't have a massive TV, you know what I mean? So,
no,
but I mean, like, I'm still able to see it perfect from where I'm laying and watching it, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, no, it like I said, it's making me want to double for just the stuff that you guys have been saying here, make me want maybe take a double.
Give it another look.
Yeah,
you should. This is a movie I think you could watch, and you can never not watch this movie.
I get the whole thing with AI. I get the whole thing. Sorry, with the technology and what they're doing. I understand that aspect. I just feel like it could have been so much more well done because we've already gone through 2019. That's what's fucking with my head, right?
Well, I will say this: if you will like it and you watch it again, you should watch 2049 with your boy Ryan Gosling.
Realistic,
Ryan Gosling's in that movie, and Harrison returns.
Yeah,
Anna de Armas. It's a good one because
Dave Bautista,
and because that takes
Jared Leto,
because that takes place more in the future, obviously, because it's 2049 that one. So
that 30 years later. Yeah.
So if you like it after another rewatch, I would follow it up honestly with 2049 because. I mean, that's not my pick. I'll tell you guys right now, but it was tempting to pick that after watching this. Yeah, but I'm like, you know what? We'll revisit that at some point.
Maybe in 2050, we'll check it out.
If you found this one to be kind of slow and hard to pay attention to, 2049 will be a little bit more your speed.
Exactly.
It is also, I find 2049. I'll be honest with you guys, because when it came out in 2017, when I was discovering these movies for the first time, and my sisters actually took me out to go see 2049 on my birthday. Like it was like a night. Just like this original Blade Runner, 2049 also like flopped. Like me and my sisters and like 3 other people were, and this movie had been out. Yeah. Like this movie had been out for like, I mean, I guess it actually had been out for a while at that point, but it was just, it didn't do well at the box office. Like 12 people went to go see it, and I was one of the 12. And then the thing is with 2049, it is more action tinted. I feel like it is more like if that is the craving that you want, it'll give you that. I don't want to call
them problems with this film, but the things that we pointed out that weren't like present, let's say, as much in this, 2049 has.
Yeah.
So I actually commend him in the sense that he did try to make it in terms of the tone different than this film, while also still being in the timeline of this story.
It's another movie I like to think about too, and I feel like 2049. Be honest with you, I didn't love it when I saw it in the theaters, but it is a movie I like a little bit better every time I do revisit it. The thing is, I feel like it was a little bit. It didn't have as much soul to it as this. Like I prefer the first part. I usually do. Like I feel like. It was a good
more character.
It has more character. But you know what though? I think that movie. Just a small spoiler, Jay. It's describing a scenario in which like the replicants have like officially
evolved.
They've overtaken the population of the Earth. There's more like replicants now than
they don't die.
But they vaguely speak about that too.
So I feel like maybe that was a conscious decision on Denis' part to make it, like, I hate to use this word, but a little like more soulless and like robust to reflect like the nature of AI or whatever. But I just kind of felt like it was a lot of a rehashing in certain ways.
Sure.
Like a character dies in rain and then a character dies in snow, and like the other one, I just kind of was rolling my eyes at some shit.
Problem though, when you're playing in that playground, is you have to kind of like tap into certain aspects of the original film while also trying to be your own thing,
exactly.
Right? So
it's hard. It's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. I prefer this one, but I have people that I know
that prefer it. I've heard
prefer 2049. See, there you go. Julie's one of
them.
I personally don't think like it was like it's a good film. It's an enjoyable film, but I feel like at the end of the day, for me, it's a little bit of a pointless movie because it doesn't really. I don't think it really touched on anything that the original one didn't already say about this topic. Personally, and the one thing I do kind of, and this is just like super nitpick category territory for me. It didn't do the movie any favors that, and sorry, Jay, this is just another small spoiler, that the relationship that he has with the Ana de Armas character is like a beat for beat remake of that movie. It's almost like the same movie, kind of.
I never even thought of that.
And it was so hard. I knew
where you were going.
It was so hard for me to turn that off when I was watching. I was like, wow, it's just like a lot of the shit I was seeing. I was like, this is not like new to me, kind of like this. Like it's not like, even there's this scene when he takes her up on the roof and it's raining, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of like V for Vendetta or whatever. Like I just saw a lot of like hodgepodging, but the cinematography is gorgeous. Roger Deakins won an Academy Award, his first, for that. Denis Villeneuve, of course,
great director,
fantastic filmmaker. One of our finest. And it's a good movie. It's just
I'm with you. I
Blade
prefer
Runner
this
is
too,
my favorite,
but
yeah.
I've only watched 2049 once so far. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It is a movie I do like more and more every time I see it, though.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe I'll get to that point.
Also, it's one of those movies where they lay you up with something you think you see coming from a mile away, and then the twist.
There's a twist.
Actually, got me 100%. Got me in it. Where I'm just like, I was mad because I'm like, this is so fucking obvious what they're doing here, and then the fact that they didn't do that, I'm like, oh, you bastard! I was like, that's interesting.
I find like
it got me.
I'm sort of noticing this. This is like kind of my issue with sequels. I feel like sequels are kind of like, I don't think they really work with movies as much. Like, there are some great ones, but like a movie is like, for me, is like a film is like such a statement of like ideas, and like there's this artistry, and I like that the statement just ends when the film ends. Like, I don't really like the thing is I notice with a lot of sequels, what they do is they expand the mythology of the story, the add characters and scenarios or whatever. They don't really expand the philosophy. They don't really say anything new that excites me, that stimulates my brain or whatever.
Right.
So like, for me personally, it's almost like to be honest with you, the real sequel to Blade Runner, in my opinion, is the Matrix movies. Like, I feel the Matrix movie, the first one, because I feel like that's the one that's kind of the next step in this thought process, right? But and like the Matrix, I like those sequels, but I don't think they're really necessary. You know what I mean? So that's kind of just what
I have a soft spot for the second one.
Me too. The highway sequence is fantastic, and there's some great action in 2049 that is like amazing. But like and that's just kind of like where I'm at with it. Like, I'm like,
no, that's fair.
That's fair as a complete piece. Like,
Julie, is there anything you want to add to that? And you prefer the 2049 version, like in that sense?
I know what you're saying about like the twist, like they actually got you with it, but I think that what unfortunately was a detriment to the second movie was that you already kind of know the pathway that they're leaning at. So you kind of have this predictability built in from the first movie. So you're not going to be as surprised by this sort of mic drop moment that they have. In that you already know the universe that exists and you understand the lore. If you've seen the first one, then it's like you know exactly the lane they're driving in. Yeah. So it loses a little bit of its surprise factor, a little bit. But I think just like maybe it might just be like, to use a term from our last episode, a recency bias thing of like maybe I just need to watch the 4K though. Who knows? But the whole like modernizing look of everything maybe played to my preferences a little bit, and I wouldn't say it heavily outweighs the old one. I just think I prefer that one a little bit more. But
I was going to say
something earlier.
No.
Huh?
No, I said you're not alone.
You're not alone. A lot of people feel that way too. Yeah. But
the point that I was going to make earlier about when you guys were talking about how Ridley Scott's not a collaborator and all this stuff, it reminded me of like press release stuff that I saw when the second movie came out. When Harrison Ford, when they approached him and said, "We're making a second one. We want you to be in it," and he's doing a press junket thing with this. I forget what her name is, but this reporter lady. And they approached him and they said, "We want you to be in it." And they were like, "Do you have any questions?" And she was like, "Did you say how much?" And he goes, "Yeah, show me the money." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that probably is because he had such a fucking terrible time at the first one that he was like, you're gonna have to pay me a lot to relive through that shit." But then it's a different director, so.
Harrison got to be old in the second one, though. It's okay. He was old. The angle was he was old.
He finally became the old grumpy guy he kind of plays in his movies.
There was a thing I saw. I haven't seen this other movie, but on your guys' subject of like the sequel, like the actual sequel, whatever. I was reading some other like some thread about like stuff inspired by Blade Runner or something, and there was this like Reddit thread I was reading, and I haven't seen this movie, but other people are saying that the movie Soldier is like a sidequel to Blade Runner. Did anybody see that one?
I have not seen
the universe or something.
Same screenwriter who wrote Blade Runner, David. Well, like one of the two screenwriters, David Peoples. And so I think he wrote that movie. I'm not sure if he also directed it.
Never heard of it.
It's with Kurt Russell, I believe, right, Julie?
Okay.
Right?
I'm not sure. It was a thing that just like reminded me.
There is a scene in that movie where I haven't not watched it, but I just kind of read it on the wiki, like on Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell references the battles on Orion's shoulder and near the Tannhauser Gate that like Roy Batty refers to in his dying monologue. And there's like
Paul
that
Anderson, but not
like, takes place in the same universe.
Paul William Scott Anderson, not to be confused.
P.W.S. Anderson. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I think he did the Resident Evil movies too. That guy. I think he's also married to Mila Jovovich. That lucky bastard.
She's in that.
What? Yeah, he is married to Mila Jovovich.
She's in
Damn, I haven't thought about Mila Jovovich in a long time.
No, Mila Jovovich.
I know she's in
Fifth Element and Resident Evil.
Yeah,
I know, but I was talking about.
She's also Ultraviolet.
She's in that. Yeah.
Another under the radar comic book movie that I think nobody cares about.
Which one?
Ultraviolet.
Never seen it.
Oh yeah, that's with Mila. Yeah. I have not seen that either. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. There's also an extra on the Prometheus DVD where there's like a letter from Peter Whalen, like that Guy Pearce played. He basically plays the CEO of the Alien company, addressing that like Tyrell was his mentor.
Yes.
And there's like Tyrell saying,
I've heard of this.
We could be the new gods. And basically Tyrell was basically like trying to be God in this world. Like he was like that kind of a character. And so basically confirming that the Alien movies take place in the same universe as Blade Runner. There's a lot of
parallels between the films.
You know what's also interesting too is that Blade Runner, this and the movie and the sequel, they both refer to off-world colonies, but they only ever take place on Earth.
That's right.
And then Alien, except I think for the opening chapters of Prometheus, always take place in space.
Ships.
Outer space and stuff, or other planets or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. I think I'll just kind of like, this is my last thing I'll say about the whole 2049 thing, is that I personally kind of just like them. This is just me personally. Like, I kind of like that Deckard and Rachel, they go into the elevator and then the door closes and you don't know what happens.
Yes.
You don't know what happens to them. I don't need to know what happens to them.
I don't like that about these type of movies that further explore stuff because the possibility of what could have happened in your mind will never be whatever they present you. I get
Who knows? Maybe they get killed in the lobby by the guy or whatever.
Just the way the music picks up and it closes out the movie at that point. Like,
I'm good.
Sick.
I'm good.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, so favorite scenes in quotes, if you want to go ahead and start.
Should we just start off with the Tears and Rain thing? Because I think that's everybody's favorite. That is the scene. Right? Like, and I think that is such an important scene because it makes you think about the character in a different way. Like the Roy Batty, you've been kind of seeing him, one of the best villains I think I've ever seen in a movie. Brilliantly played by Rutger Hauer, he's just a genius in this movie. Can
I say something about Rutger Hauer?
Go ahead.
Every time I watch this movie, I think that he looks like fucking Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. That's I can see that actually. Yeah.
I forgot to write it down, but I mentioned it when we were watching the movie, and I was like, "Does anybody else think he looks like Anthony Hopkins?" That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he kind of is like just like this interesting kind of villain. Like he's like very literate, very kind of like educated and whatever, and like
he's incredibly horny. Also, he's so sexual. For what?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe he's human.
He was banging a sex bot. That's what Priz
was.
Ford.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, this is
kind of. Did you not see her greased up athletic legs as she's fucking like choking out Harrison Ford, and then she like does one of these crazy
Death by thighs
Tom Cruise run and flip. Daryl Hannah was looking pretty good.
By the way, they got a Daryl.
Was that a leg double or was that Daryl Hannah?
That was a double. Like Daryl Hannah couldn't do the flips. And then they, apparently I didn't notice watching that documentary.
She cut her arm up. She smashed
into the thing.
She trips and punches that car window. I knew that was a mistake.
That was real.
That was real glass. So she actually has like a scar.
Yeah, when she jumps out of the trash when she first meets Sebastian and she runs into the taxi, she slipped like legitimately.
Yep.
So I didn't know this about Ridley Scott until I saw this doc. Is that he's also kind of like a Fincher in terms of like.
I thought you were gonna say he's also really horny.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame him, bro.
Yep.
when he's surrounded. Oh, now I know why he wants to work with Sean Young so much. Yo, Harrison, you got this, bro. Let me talk to her real fast.
Apply more makeup to her now. More sheen on his lips.
More lipstick.
Yeah, sorry. He's like
Fincher,
Fincher,
and he'll do an insane amount of takes. Like he'll do a bunch of takes.
I don't know
that. I don't know if he's still like that.
This is why I think I don't know this, because in this movie he's like that, and they didn't like the fact that he did numerous take. How come like you got it on take 16? One of his like production guys was saying in the documentary, like out of all these other takes, and he would like go on to explain why this take was better than all the other takes. Like he's like a Kubrick or a Fincher or something. I know, like that.
Just very like. Maybe he was like that earlier. I don't know if he's like that. It's funny how we don't really know. I don't think he's
like that anymore. That's
because he just churns out like 3 movies. No way he could be like that. So.
I would bet that scene where the sex robot is running through all those panes of glass, that's many takes put together.
Probably.
That is.
It seems to linger so long that she's falling. Actually, it's like a Michael Bay repeat of the action, it feels like.
You're talking about when he shoots her, right? And he goes through the glass. Yeah, I think they said something about the doc, but I'm kind of not remembering. They said something very interesting about that scene.
Which, for me, other than the final scene, that's my favorite scene.
When he kills her,
that's sick when she cries. Because just like the slow-mo of her busting through all the glass, the music that kicks in, him walking up,
the snow,
she's wearing.
He has the gun. Like, it's the most badass he looks like, because he gets his ass whooped throughout the rest of the film after this. Yeah. But that scene, he is the man. He's just like, he's shot down.
But it's also very cold too. Like he's just basically just executed this like this replica
in cold blood.
That, you know what? That's another thing about the whole empathy thing, about how human beings are kind of lacking empathy.
No one is affected by this.
That is true. But even in the opening crawl, they say when you kill a replicant, it's not execution, it's retirement.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't even like give them like the satisfaction of like a death or whatever, right? Of saying it's a death. Or a murder or whatever.
No, that scene was sick. That's like other than the ending, that's my favorite.
You notice when he kills Zora is her name. When she kills Zora, she goes through the glass and like behind her are like a bunch of mannequins.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of like almost like a mannequin coming to life. She's like the mannequin who came to life, kind of like inorganic being. When the final showdown in the Bradbury Hotel, when he goes to the upstairs, he goes to Sebastian's apartment. And Daryl Hannah is like sitting there. She's around a bunch of dolls, like a bunch of toys.
Sick too.
That is one of my favorite scenes too. And just like the build up to it, where they're like cutting back and forth between him going up the stairs
because they're all living toys that live with him. Because he makes it he makes that.
But I just thought the interesting kind of like
juxtaposition.
Like of like mannequins coming to life, dolls, like this sort of like imagery of like these sort of created creatures coming to life. I just thought it was like, okay, this is an interesting visual like motif or whatever.
It's supposed to be like obedience versus defiance, probably.
Yeah. And that's like another thing is also like, I guess another like great theme of the movie is like individuality versus conformity sort of thing. Like when you meet Rachel, the first scene when you meet Rachel, and she kind of like looks like kind of like a robot when she's like walking and like way the movement,
the shoulder pads and that fucking thing she had on.
Looks very like kind of like static, like very, you know what I mean, very rigid or whatever. And then when she's playing the piano at his apartment and she finally lets the hair loose, it's kind of like she's kind of like forming her own identity again and stuff like that. And I think the same thing happens to Deckard at the end of the film.
Well, that's the thing. She continuously seeks him out because he was like
kept it straight with her.
Well, he just that, but also just because he just disregarded her. Like he was just like, oh, you're a replicant. Like she seeked him out. Like after that, like he wanted nothing to do with her, it seemed like, even though he was clearly like attracted to her, right? It was just like, and she continuously kind of like went out of her way to like, I mean, she saved his life in that scene against Leon, right? I mean, that's
oh man, the scene when she goes to his apartment and after like she's been interrogated or whatever, like that's like the second scene that she's
when she brings the photo.
When she brings the photos and she's like, look, I'm real, and then like I have a photo or whatever, and she's like, implants. Like he's kind of just like like totally dunking on her, like opening up her Christmas gifts for her and shit, like just ruining her.
Well, that was what was good about that was later on, this guy gets hammered, he's at the bar and he calls He's like,
when I was being
hey.
so charming. Well, you remember that time when I told you you weren't a real person? I was so charming.
She's like, I don't go to places like that. Hey, why don't you come down here, have a drink? Yeah, he calls her up on the FaceTime.
But when she's at her apartment,
the FaceTime was funny.
When she's at her apartment, when she's at his apartment, and
I just like how his mood changed. Like he's just like, hey, I'm at this bar. Why don't you come down?
Booty call.
I don't think so, Mr. Decker. Right? That's not my kind of place.
I don't go to those type of places.
When she's at his apartment and she like they have the photographs, and she's like, she starts crying because he's like being so kind of like just straightforward with her. Yeah, like a Rick Dickard, more like he's like being so like upfront with her, or so honest with her, and he's like, okay, I'll pour you a drink, and then it shows her like looking at the photograph and then throwing it.
She leaves,
and then the Vangelis like piano kicks it. I'm just like, dude, that shit is like one of my favorite scenes ever. It's so sad.
Quotes. I mean, I had the what did he say here? I mean, yeah, that rain scene when he says,
"Oh my god, like tears in rain."
Yeah, he says,
"Say."
I have it right here. All those moments in time will be lost like tears in the rain. Yeah, and then he's like, "Time to die," and then he lets that bird fly free out of his like.
That made me laugh so hard.
Christine made a comment about that. She's like, "Well, that was off-putting." That like the viewer, because it's like,
where was he hiding that bird?
No, but she didn't like how it like stuttered, like it kind of like slow mode the bird.
Oh,
away.
the afterthought.
So there's another like.
I wasn't even bothered by that. I was just laughing at like, where the fuck did the dog come from? Did he have it in his pants?
No, he was holding it. So you see when he gets on the roof, he's holding the bird. But then, I missed that. Then you only see his face. You don't see like.
I missed that part.
Oh, you know he was carrying the bird the whole time?
No, he was carrying it.
He was carrying it. Even when he jumps on the roof, he's holding it.
Yeah. I mean,
nobody else that I was watching with noticed it either. We were all laughing about the bird that came out of nowhere.
The crow, like just symbolism. Yeah, it's because it's obviously like a rebirth kind of death and rebirth.
It's meant to sort of signify that its soul
is went up to heaven or whatever.
Exactly. That much is obvious, but it's just like it just seemed like it came out of nowhere. So we were all like, "What the fuck? Where did that come
he's been holding it the whole time." And
that's funny.
There's this the image of Rick Deckard like hanging from the roof is such an iconic image. I've seen that image before I ever saw the film. Like anytime I would see like Blade Runner on the internet or whatever, that image just kept popping up, and I'm like, it's just him hanging on the roof. Like, why does this keep popping up? And then I think it's because of what happens afterwards. Like the whole just like it's one of the most beautiful scenes in cinema and like or that I've ever seen. And when he's like gripping on the rail and he's about to fall down, and Rutger Hauer just looks down on him and is like, what does he say? He's
quite
like,
an experience to live in fear, isn't it?
Like that's what it's like to be a slave. And then he's kind of looking at him kind of like almost a child, like
pity kind of also.
No, he's almost like, because remember he's slipping and he gives like a little smile, like he's happy that this guy's about to die.
His body's shutting down on him in this scene, right? That's why he takes that nail, like sticks it through his hand, because his hand's like retracting into itself, like
which people have a long life, right?
Which people are also saying that's like kind of Christ imagery, the nail through the hand and whatever.
I didn't actually even pick up on that, but it makes sense. Yeah.
There's all this biblical stuff, even the dove, right? Like the whole
I like he's like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe, or that other line where he's like, the things I've seen with your eyes, because the guy who created the eyes for him, when he like goes to that freezer and he says that to him. Like he's seen all these amazing things, but he's also seen all these like horrible things. Yes, the Asian market. He's seen like that's what he was trying to say, because the things that he had to do, because that's the thing that they say at the start too. When the cop brings him there, they killed 23 people.
Yeah,
there were 6 of them, 3 men and 3 women, and there's only 4 by the time this starts, not counting Rachel, of course. But they killed like a bunch of people trying to escape that planet, like to get on ships and get to where to basically track down their maker to ask for the extension on the life, right? The crushing of the skull was crazy too.
Oh, like that kills Tyrell. Fuck.
Apparently they
with the fingers in the eyes. Yeah.
Apparently they did create like another head to use during that scene, but then they just put some blood things behind
Tubes
the
or
packs,
whatever. Yeah.
and then when he did that, he just kind of
just
squirted
pushed
it out.
it,
Yeah. So they spent all this money on the head, and then they didn't use it.
I guess.
I mean, the
I
sound
guess,
effects are good enough. I mean, I'll tell you
sometimes
that.
you have an option, but then you realize you have a
This
better
would
one.
be way better and easier. Yeah,
it's like it's just
the
it
desired
happens.
effect is just the same. Yeah. So
I liked that when the last two of them, Harrison Ford and what did we say his name is?
Rutger Hauer.
Roy
Batty,
yeah.
right?
Roy Batty,
near the end, where they're fighting each other before his head comes out of the fucking pops his head through the wall.
like The Shining.
But when he goes to say goodbye to the last one that he had killed, and it was only the two of them, right? And it looks like her tongue was sticking out. I don't know. Did he fucking bite off her tongue?
Yeah, her tongue was sticking out.
Or was it like a soul thing, or like
I think
don't know?
Pushed it when
or
he
pushed
kissed
it
her.
back in.
Yeah, I think he pushed it back in.
He gave her tongue.
Like
When she was dead.
sticking out when she dies.
Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, because then he has like
I noticed that little thing.
blood on his like face after that.
And makeup.
That's
And
what's
a
so
little bit of
cool at the
makeup.
end too. When he's in the rain, he's got like a streak of blood across his like right eye. Like that's so sick looking with the rain coming down on him.
Yeah, I love that.
And also like the liquid that's coming out of it's like milk like, it seems like. It's like what was that? Was it Matrix that was like that? Or
fucking Star Trek did something like
there's
that.
something
too.
where the blood was like milk like in something.
Alien.
The drug.
Is it Alien?
Yeah,
The replicants.
the
The synthetics. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's milk from that. So that's exactly what he was doing with these guys too. Like that's what was coming out of them. It looked like they looked like milk substance. It looked like it was with the synthetics. You're right. I was like, I knew it was in something I watched. Like
been in a few things. I think that sort of type of synthetic color, like they're using the clear color. Otherwise, they go with some wacky color like green or something, right?
How about you, Julie? Any scenes or quotes?
That we're doing them all. I didn't write down that many because I knew that you guys would have it.
That chase with her wearing that fucking umbrella suit, man, that was
yeah.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how that bra stayed on and that weird.
Oh, the applause when we finally saw the boob. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it took forever to see that saggy fucking thing.
I know.
There's another thing.
Like, seriously, it was like a slope.
There's another thing too when he first sees Zora, like that woman that you're talking about, in her dressing room. She's naked, but she also has like a snake, and so they were kind of like, people were saying that was like an Adam and Eve kind of thing, being tempted by the snake and shit. Like there's
these guys
like
going really religious in this.
No,
one.
but I think that there is very religious tinted.
Yeah.
Even the story is like
totally.
low key all about religion, about like the Tyrell, and even notice how like his office is all like all this Egyptian like shit and stuff, and he kind of like looks at himself
he
like
lives in a pyramid.
He's in a pyramid without the capstone.
Yep.
There's also this is kind of, you guys are gonna roll your eyes at this shit, but the opening scene of the movie has the eye, right? It shows the eye reflecting onto the fire, and then the next scene is the pyramid. So it's like the eye in the pyramid, like on the, like the Illuminati shit, and like
the American Bill. And all that
no, that's what it is. Like the whole Masonic,
Freemason thing.
Yeah, all that stuff, and that's in a lot of movies, not just this. Like all this, like eye in the pyramid shit, but. One of the eye that I was, because this just reminded me of it, the opening eye in the maybe this is more like an I'll save it for the unanswerable question thing, so sorry about pencil that for later. Good scenes.
I like the quotes where Roy Batty he's there with Priz and Sebastian, and he's like, oh yeah, I worked on you, you have some of me in you or whatever, and then he's like, show me something. He's like what? He's like, anything. We're not computers, Sebastian, we're physical. This is the way he like says it.
He kind of looks at them like they're objects.
But like the
kind of thing,
his like the way he talks is very like strange in that scene. Like I like the delivery of the line. It was
probably just his like Swedish or Dutch or whatever accent seeping through.
He's like insulted. We're not computers, Sebastian. We're physical.
And then Chris says to him, I think, therefore I am, which is a famous line from that French philosopher Rene Descartes about like existentialism. If you have thought, then you have existence, kind of, or you have doubt or whatever.
Right.
Rene Descartes has the exact same initials, even sounds similar to the character that Harrison Ford plays, Rick Deckard. It's like there's a whole connection. There's like all this like very deep kind of symbolism and kind of thing in the movie, like very lots of metaphors and stuff like that.
And then like where she's like, "We need you, Sebastian. You're our best and only friend." And he lifts those eyes and he's like, he has those like goofy looking eyes.
You know what's so good about?
We're so happy you helped us.
Oh yeah, the fake eyes, yeah.
Just creepy, just very creepy setting, that toy area. I love.
Can I just say I love Daryl Hannah's performance in this?
She's great.
How she kind of like turns off the innocent and sinister like within moments. Like even when she's hugging Sebastian, she's like, "You're my only friend," and then she's like eyeing to Roy. Like
as soon as he walks off,
we're hustling this fucking guy. Like we need to get to we need to find a way to get to Tyrell and shit. Like
and also
even when she first encounters him in the alleyway.
Yeah.
And they're interacting, and she's like switched on to this sort of innocent, I'm lost thing. Yeah, and as soon as he turns around to unlock the door, she's just like,
we scared each other pretty good, didn't we? Like she's all like a babe in the woods kind of act.
I'm hungry. I was hoping you'd ask me to come in. And she's kind of flirtatious a bit.
She's a pleasure model. By the way, here's another kind of like trivia thing. You know, in the beginning of the movie when they show like their fate, their all the replicants on the screen, and they show all their inception dates or whatever, like the days they were born. Pris's inception date is February 14th, which is like Valentine's Day. Yeah. So that was kind of just like a little like.
I had some other quotes here too, where he's like, when he goes to see Tyrell, he's like, "Oh, I'm surprised he didn't come here sooner. It's not an easy thing to meet your maker." He's like, "Oh, what can he do for you?" And then he's like, "What seems to be the problem? Death. I want more life, Father. The facts of life." He's like, the facts of life. The light that burns twice as bright burns twice as long, and you burn very, very brightly.
I love that line.
He's like, "We make you the best that we could, but not to last." And then he's like, "I've done questionable things, but also revelatory things or whatever." Like
revel in your time.
Yeah. I just that exchange between those two characters that ends in the obviously him killing him is great. That was a really good scene too, and just the exchange. There wasn't many like things when it came to quotes. My favorite actually was "Are you trying to make is find out if I'm a lesbian or a replicant?" That was funny. But in terms of quotes, like there was. Other than his last speech at the end in the rain, like this was probably the closest I'd say to the real good exchange in the
There's
film.
A lot of great lines of dialogue. I like a lot of lines.
Not as much for me stood out. Like
Time to Die.
Yeah, well,
that's time to die.
Both him and Leon say that. I don't know if you noticed that. Like when Leon catches Deckard, he has the exact same speech that like Deckard, Roy has, but it's kind of like an interesting callback.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other things? That's all I had.
Quotes and scenes. Oh, I'm trying to think. Everybody, do you guys have anything?
I mean, we got to talk about the final scene, but we got to do that. I feel like an questionable, unanswerable questions here or questions area, right? So
I'm
trying to think of one that we didn't already say.
I did start. I wanted to kind of institute it. I wanted to implement in 2026. Let's try to like organically maybe come up with some more like categories, like smaller categories that we can visit now and then, but aren't like firm, like we have to do them every episode. But I kind of want to do one more specific if we can come up with them for each other, like things that are like more of like something that we're into individually.
Did you think of one for Blade Runner?
I thought of one for JT. So this is going to be JT's category, okay, for these films. And this is the new category, guys. This is the first time I didn't even prep Jay for this. Okay, Jay,
he's on the hot seat now.
Jay, what character in this film would you most like to smoke a joint with?
I thought you were gonna say which one to smash.
Who would I like to smoke a joint with in this one?
Yeah,
I know my answer.
And this would be a category I feel like we can revisit in other movies, but because I feel like it's a comment that's been made by Jay before, so I want to throw it out there.
This one's actually easy for me. I know.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think I would be Harrison Ford. I think
Deckard?
That miserable fuck.
If I was talking about wanting to maybe wanting to bang one of them, it would probably be the one in the umbrella sort of style thing. I would, the first one,
Zora.
Joanne Cassidy, I think the actress's name was.
I think it'd be like, you want to go for a ride? Let's go. I gotta do it.
It's easily Rachel, bro.
Yes,
like, come on, bro. That's like, first off, she's already smoking.
Yes,
number one.
It's Rachel.
Number one, she's the only replicant that doesn't fucking want to kill you. Like,
it's Rachel.
She's like the most chill character.
I kind of like. Most people want to kill me, anyways.
Huh?
Are you talking about like to smoke a joint with?
Yeah. Who else?
But don't you think that the replicants are going to be unaffected by substances?
Oh, here we go.
I mean, if they
just
could,
make it a
I
fucking
mean,
question. Come on.
I mean, if they could get smashed, they could probably feel some weed.
So you're saying
they're
Zora.
humans, though.
Zora is the person that you'd most want to smoke a joint with.
Well,
okay.
just because as either that or I mean, Harrison Ford back at this time probably was a badass.
I mean, would I want to smoke smoke a joint with the real Harrison Ford and like talk about like the
I think
yeah, maybe even Rucker Howard could get in on that too. But like,
I think I'd rather
as far as the characters in this shit, yeah, Rachel.
Rachel,
Rachel,
I think so.
But if I was to say how Harrison Ford,
maybe Tyrell. I don't know. This guy knows a lot.
That's my answer, Tyrell.
Yeah.
Tyrell's your answer?
Yeah, Tyrell, because he knows a lot. Like he knows the fucking. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He is the smartest person.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Harrison needs the joint more, but
I want the little guy that makes the eyes.
It would be sad.
The joint that burns. Fucking.
The joint that burns twice as quick.
It was created not to last, unfortunately. This joint.
Created not to be passed.
Twice a mouse, twice to burn, right, or whatever it is.
So that's your new category, Jay. So you can think about that for future.
That's a good category.
Future episodes.
Now, which one would you smash? No, I'm just kidding.
Smash or pass.
Smash or pass.
I'd probably smash them all, to be honest with you, especially if they have no empathy or no feelings. Or
but okay, let's jump into it then.
God,
questions.
No, straight up.
The ending, the meaning of the ending in this film. So Ridley Scott has more so been talking about this in more recent years, especially with the promotion of 2049. But Ridley Scott's also somebody that's been very vocal about stuff in terms of interviewing and stuff like that in more recent years. It seems like he just says whatever he wants at this point, like of his career, right? He's always been like outspoken maybe about certain stuff, but like at this point, but I guess it's not something he spoke about a lot in the past about the meaning of this film. And that's the big thing, whether or not Deckard is a replicant.
Right.
That's the question.
That is the question of the film, because
they seem to imply that.
Not like it's.
They seem to imply that with the origami thing at the end, but my question is, why is that guy tipping him off?
So he looked at his file. That's what this is straight from Ridley Scott, and this is from other fans already had talked about, whether or not he's just adopted this or just wanted to now make it so because people have kind of created this idea of what happened. But basically, that cop, the one that was kind of making like the matchstick things throughout it. There's a scene where with the piano playing where he is having visions of unicorns or horses or whatever, and then the whole idea, the whole idea is him creating the origami unicorn at the end is because he's trying to say, I know the visions that are implanted in your head. And he knew that he was going to run off with her at that point because of that line. It's a shame that they don't die. She won't last. But then who does? Yeah. And so it's almost like he's kind of like, I know like where you're headed now with her, but I know that you are a replicant and you don't know that. So the whole thing that he's been saying throughout the film about her and knowing about the implemented memories and because here's the thing, Harrison Ford is supposedly a more advanced model than all these other people.
He's not dead yet.
He doesn't have like a physical boost, like the strength boost, but he has, I guess, an open
he can take a beating,
ended life. He doesn't have a closed life system, right?
Now the questions that are raised in the sequel then though in 2049 is that he's aged. They never describe that these things can age because I don't want to spoil things for Jay if he wants to watch it now, but then there's other things
with holograms.
Watch it,
there's other things with Rachel as well, questions that they pose, things that happen with Rachel's character that we discover in the second in the film, which show that these, like, if he is a replicant, he's more advanced than this Nexus 6. He's a Nexus 7 possibly, because in 2049 Nexus 8s are the ones that can't die, and he's clearly aging. So he's possibly a Nexus 7
was
unit.
Ryan Gosling a Nexus 8 or a Nexus 9? Is he one of those, right?
Not saying what's going on with Gosling in 2049.
They tell you like right away. Oh, sorry, did you say that? I'm sorry, Black.
This was the 6, right? If I'm
They do tell you right.
You won't remember by the time you go.
Tell you, like, in the opening of
they do.
Right?
But he's an 8. He's an 8.
He's
I
an
think
8.
8's the ones that don't die in 2049. But anyways, like, that's what really Scott has somewhat confirmed in more recent years. Is that that's what he had his file, and therefore he was making it known that he knew. Guess what? I know about your implemented memories. Therefore, you're a replicant.
So is that how Harrison knows Rachel's memories? Because
she's also advanced, Rachel.
No, but he describes her memories with like precise detail, and I'm like, how the fuck does he know?
Because he knows the file.
He read the file. That's what I'm saying. Like he read the file and it's in there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because that was one of my questions.
Tyrell's niece.
Yeah,
her memory. So basically, like he's kind of confirmed this fact that, but like to have that up in the air, because there's only one other time they reference it in the film is when she asks him if he's ever done the test on himself.
Yeah.
Almost like she knew that he was a replicant.
And the thing is because Rachel has been like implemented with like memories,
which is new.
Which is new.
Which is a new.
She
technology.
has a kind of a better understanding of like human like life or whatever, and this is why it takes so many questions for her to figure out
100 instead of 20 or 30.
Like she's like a more advanced kind of model in that sense, right? I guess Deckard is it too. Then I hear what you're saying. Yeah, Deckard is like an advanced.
But
if he is one.
They said that after he'd done a test on her that they had never told her that she wasn't
aware that she was a replicant.
Yeah.
Yes, but
neither that's why he asked to leave the room.
But neither is
Deckard.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. If they're doing that to her, are they doing it to him?
And if they're making a replicant hunt down replicants, that in itself is messed up. If they're actually getting one of them to think that he's somebody that actually has to track down and kill these things.
Yeah. Here's my
But they've never confirmed it they've never definitively said he's a replicant.
They don't, and they shouldn't.
Even in 2049,
they shouldn't.
They never explain that he's a replicant. It's the idea that exists amongst the fans, and Ridley Scott has confirmed.
Here's the thing. The movie.
Well, that's the thing. But if he's a more advanced replicant, we don't know if they can age or not. That's why they dance around it in 2049. They dance around it without definitively saying it.
In this one here too, they said that they only lasted like whatever
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Right? So and he was trying to ask his maker. I mean, how many times? What have they tried to make it last longer?
And he makes an excuse about viruses and all this other shit.
About all that crap. Were there excuses though? Or was it really? Did they really try?
Well, even his. Well, I guess they said like his.
Rachel is the success of that, though.
That's the most advanced one, or maybe he is.
And Deckard possibly, yes.
Okay.
Sorry. No. I was thinking. I think the movie kind of leans in the direction that he is one. Obviously, it does with the fucking unicorn. I think that's like a dead giveaway. And then, of course, there's like a slight scene where. You know how like their eyes glow? There's a slight scene when his eyes glow too. If you catch it,
I don't know if I caught
that. You blink it, you'll miss it. But it's like they're both in the frame, Rachel and Deckard. But
she notices maybe.
Well, she asks him like, "Yo, have you ever taken that test for yourself?" And then he conveniently like passes out on his bed.
Right.
But the like at the right time. But ultimately it doesn't matter, and that's like kind of the thing is like he picks up the piece of origami and the unicorn, he goes like he questions it for a second and then
the movie ends.
He just goes on with this thing because he realizes like whether he's a replicant or not doesn't matter. And then the scene of him seeing Batty die kind of dispels the difference between what is human and what isn't. Like he sees it like, oh wow, like I've been looking at these replicants as things to kill, and then he finally sees like a real moment of humanity within the replicant. So I think it doesn't matter whether he is it or not. He is or he isn't. And I like that the answer never gets questioned, because I don't think the question never gets answered, because I don't think it really matters. Like,
but that's what I think I don't like about Ridley Scott being so openly talking about it now, because it's kind of like,
you know what he said? You know what Ridley said? He said, of course he's a replicant, you moron. Like, we're watching the movie. Like
I watched an interview with him where they were doing promo for this film, and the interviewer is starting to ask like a question, and he literally just out of nowhere is like, he's a replicant, of course. Like she may have not even been asking that question, but he's so used to people asking it, and he just says,
you know what this is exactly like the fucking Sopranos ending when people were arguing for decades,
and he got sick of it, and he just started making things up. But it's so.
He said that he got killed.
Yeah, but it's so Ridley Scott to start saying shit like, just like, you know what I mean? Like, where they were questioning him for the stuff that happened in Gladiator 2. Were you there during that time? How would you know this didn't exist?
Were you there? That's the funniest shit ever.
Were you there? Like, get the fuck out of here, Ridley. Like, what are you doing here? Like, it's true though. Like, Ridley Scott likes throwing that shit out there. He starts the interview by saying that, of course he was a replicant. And they were like, oh, I didn't even ask that.
They were like, yeah, how was your day, Ridley? Right? Just what the fuck were we talking about?
And then he proceeds to say what we were just talking about the origami but this theory already existed. Like this was already a theory amongst fans.
Well, I think the original writer for the screenplay, this movie was written by two people. There was like one writer, and then he got kind of fired, who kind of came up with a lot of ideas, and he got fired, and then David Peoples kind of replaced him. But the original writer wanted Deckard to be a human. Harrison Ford wanted him to be a human, and then Ridley was kind of like, let's go for like
let's leave it up in the air
kind of thing. And
I think that's the right choice.
That's the right choice, and
like you said, ultimately, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
You're wondering.
You know what's also similar too is Stanley Kubrick. Have you guys seen 2001 or?
Nope.
No, that movie has an
Space
ambiguous.
Odyssey?
I'm not gonna say what it is, but that movie has a very like, what the fuck does this mean? And ending, and they were asking him like a bunch of times, what does this mean? What does this mean? And he would never answer it. And then randomly, some like Japanese guy or Chinese guy, whatever, he calls him on the phone like it's an interview, and just flat out asked him what does it mean. And then like Kubrick ended up explaining the ending to 2001, and it's kind of like I kind of feel like that shit should not be explained. Just leave it like.
Well, that's a little bit of what that goes on to kind of like my problem with today's times is that these guys are too accessible now. They'll just go on a podcast and like what I didn't like about Weapons was how this guy was telling us like what shit meant as soon as the movie came out, and I was like, Zach, like calm down a little bit in terms of I'm like let people
don't explain it at all.
I have no problem with them like a couple years down the road. Hey, you want to talk about that at the anniversary? Sure, let's talk about some of these things now. I've heard what you guys had to say, but
they have to give it more time to marinate than that.
But I don't even like when audience members be like, what does this mean? What does this mean? It's just like
I'm
what do you want
like that. I kind of do want to know the meaning.
Do you want them to like chew your food for you too?
Christine calls me out on it all the time. I need meaning and shit. Like for me personally,
the meaning is what you bring to it.
No,
like that's the way I think.
I don't like it. That's why I don't like two things that are too like
metaphorical,
like David Lynch stuff and things like that.
I don't even really watch his movies.
But I'm not. I need answers to stuff. Like sometimes, like even if there's the theory of an answer like this, where is he a robot? Is he not? I'll make my own conclusions based on the information we've been given. But I just don't want to. I'm okay with that. But if it's something
you need to be guided to like where the meaning is, you don't like this ambiguity kind of. Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that.
We've been sort of like talking about how like initial watches of this movie seem a little kind of like confusing or whatever, or seem kind of like whatever. But I feel like if you just put in the work, I mean, if you want to, you just put in the work and you just watch this movie like 2-3 times.
Yeah, it's not
it'll just come to you. It's not really like a hard movie to understand. I don't think so at all. So
no, what I was saying though is there's just so many things to focus on that I actually had a hard time following the story.
Because a lot of people say that about it. They're like, "What is it?" I like if you go on Letterboxd, you open up Letterboxd right now.
Visually,
if you open up Letterboxd right now, the reviews are gonna like the opening reviews are gonna be like the critics or what? Not critics, but whatever the people on Letterboxd. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck did I just watch? What the fuck was that?" Like, and then the people are in the comments are kind of like being like, I mean, like it's not that complicated. Like, how could you not figure it? Like
the usual Letterboxd review. Deckard's totally hot.
Yeah, Deckard and Roy Batty should have made out. They should have blown each other in the rain or whatever the fuck. These weirdos say in Letterboxd.
Yeah. And he was gay.
Sebastian was gay for fucking Batty.
Yeah.
And like, dude,
there's always some sort of comment.
Some
like
weirdos on that fucking site. But
no, I mean I appreciate Julie's comments. I did like her ChatGPT review about this, where this is real life ChatGPT.
Oh yeah.
So
is Tyrell, is he Elon Musk or is he fucking Jeff Bezos or is he Zuckerberg? Like who?
It's Musk.
Who is Musk? You think?
You think so?
Whoever the head of OpenAI is.
Yeah, I think Bezos was gonna go for that one. He's gonna send drones to your house.
You think Musk is probably gonna buy that? Like OpenAI, he's probably gonna purchase that.
He's already on his way to the moon.
Yeah, he's starting the colonies right now, bro.
Yeah, he's building the fucking
off-world.
Are we good on questions then about the?
Okay. This is a question. It's kind of like that has no real answer, but whose eye do you think that is in the beginning of the movie?
No clue.
Yeah, because my thing is like
fake,
huh?
Fake, maybe
fake.
I don't know, maybe
like a fake eye.
Yeah.
No, because my thing is like, okay, it could be Roy's like as he's entering Earth because he's coming from space, like
right,
and he sees the landscape of Los Angeles, Or if Deckard is a replicant, it's his inception.
Oh,
like he sees him like waking up, kind of like, you know, being born, I guess, in that sense. Like
there's only two of us now.
Yeah.
He says that when he goes to Caesar. No, I just maybe that's a good theory. I like that. Though. I didn't give that any thought.
So you sent me that that clip of the documentary where they discussed, there's like this was like a fan theory for a while, but then I guess it actually got confirmed because it was actually a real thing.
What's
where
that?
After Roy Batty kills Tyrell, he pushes his eyes in and stuff, and then he kills Sebastian, like whatever, off screen later. He was going to like explore Tyrell's like pyramid a little bit, and then he would find like a sarcophagus, and that was going to be like the real Tyrell. Like he had already been dead for some while, and then like
Tyrell was a replicant.
That Tyrell was also a replicant, and then so there's a theory also on the internet, like on the Reddit boards or wherever, that everybody in the movie is a replicant. Like that, like the fucking his handler,
right?
His handler is a replicant, like the one that he's like doing all the origami shit and stuff. like
Edward
that.
James Olmos.
Yeah, because he doesn't like really hunt them down or whatever. Doesn't kind of just lets them go or whatever. So there's this sort of like, I don't know.
Also, like younger appearance of Edward James Olmos in this. Like I'm so used to see him like nowadays. I was just like, or he's dead now. I think actually, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. He may have died. I can't remember.
They never put the test. They never do the test.
He was in Dexter one season. Remember that? Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yep. They never do the test on a human being. So you don't really know if like someone is if this test even fucking works.
Oh, he's not dead.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
No.
Gaff.
He looks at Gaff. Yeah. And
he had like all he had these
good on
IMDb. Yeah.
Okay, so good with questions then. Movie pairings.
Yeah, that's all the ones I could think of.
Movie pairings. This is a big one.
Oh my god.
I know there's a lot.
You guys just list them, bro, and I'll just think which one's like.
You'll take what's left because I got a lot.
Say them, bro.
I don't know, Julie. This is usually Julie's favorite.
Go ahead.
2001: A Space Odyssey, Alien, Star Wars, Terminator 2, Clockwork Orange, Fifth Element, The Matrix, Total Recall, Akira, Blade Runner 2049, Dune. Any of those are perfect fucking pairings, honestly. Ghost in the Shell, yeah.
Go ahead, Julie.
Ex Machina.
Oh yeah! Oh, that's a great pairing. We love Ex Machina. Me and Jay. We've done that on the show, so go check that out if you want to hear us talk about that movie.
Ghost in the Shell, Akira, The Matrix, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Dune. I wrote down only because the source material written by the same person, Minority Report and Scanner Darkly.
Yeah.
Total Recall, right?
Yep.
If you didn't say
I haven't seen that though. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
iRobot, just loosely on the theme of
really? You haven't seen it? We'll give you 2 weeks.
iRobot, the Will Smith one. Yeah. That's also a Philip K. Dick.
Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
Asimov, I think. Dune also was Frank Herbert, but same kind of era of sci-fi.
Did you guys know that after Alien, Ridley was gonna do Dune?
Yeah,
but then he dropped out of Dune to do Blade Runner.
Well, David Lynch ended up doing it, but Jodorowsky was supposed to be doing it. And guess who did the storyboards for that? Mobius, who I talked about, where they got that visual identity for this film. It's all connected.
I find it funny though that the guy that ended up doing like Dune also did the sequel to Blade Runner too. That's kind of like all kind of weird, like.
No, David Lynch did the.
And I know, but like Denis Villeneuve would later do Dune movies as well. And he also did the Blade Runner sequel.
Well, Mobius is French. Denis Villeneuve is French. It's all connected, guys.
It is all connected.
This one's kind of hard for me to justify a little bit, but it's kind of like just sort of gritty, bleak future vibes. Children of Men.
Absolutely.
Okay, sure. I thought you were gonna do like pull a Julie and say like Florida Project, even though it has nothing to do with this type.
Oh no, that one's coming. That one's coming, but
there's always one. You're like, I don't know why, but Little Miss Sunshine.
No, there was one I couldn't think of. I was thinking about it when we were watching the movie, and I couldn't remember the name of it. And I thought that Matt Damon was in it, and it turns out it wasn't him. But I was like, I remember this movie that was like the guy realizes partway through that he's a clone, blah blah blah. It was The Island.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
Yeah. I could not fucking remember what the hell it was called.
Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yes. I also wrote down Repo Men.
Yep.
with Jude Law.
That's a good one. No,
Jude
the
Law
older
and
one.
whoever else, and
The older one
with Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
no, I haven't seen that one. I saw the recent one.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
and I wrote down Wall-E in case you want a lighter version of the same content.
Not bad. Not bad.
Also,
Yeah.
that show I watched, Interior Chinatown, is the same kind of detective gritty vibes.
Okay. Yeah, that is like yeah.
Oh, me, I always would say something to do. Anything to do with sort of like a Star Trek sort of thing. You guys mentioned everything pretty much when it comes to AI sort of stuff. I mean, I've seen.
Which Star Trek film or series would you identify the most with this?
Probably go with the first one, just because they want to
original series.
Yeah, the original series, because
I agree.
When are you gonna do a Star Trek, bro, on this show?
Oh, there's too much.
I've asked them before. I was like,
I'm waiting for them just to connect all the worlds. They're connecting.
You can even do one of the modern ones. I don't care. Like, do one.
No, I know. But they're connecting them all for me right now, so it's going to make a lot more sense.
Star Trek and
Devil
Wears Prada.
He will never approach Star Trek on this show. He's like, sorry guys, that's for me.
We all kind of have.
That's for me to jerk off to.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't want to share.
He knows that I won't like it, and I'll shit all over it.
You know what?
It's a criticism.
I feel like if you're shitting on Stand By Me, nothing is safe at this point.
Nothing is safe. None of the movies I watch.
Bro, I didn't shit on it that bad. I will
forgive her. I will never forgive her for Mad Max, the first one we did when we put her together. We were all just like,
the sequel.
We're like, this is fantastic. I didn't like the guy who played the guitar. I was just like, what?
Dog shit. Give me Fury Road or nothing.
Furiosa, you mean?
Or yeah.
It's nowhere near as good as Fury Road, but okay. Whatever.
No, I don't know. Star Trek stuff, series, and like I said, the original series, if anything. But you can pretty much watch. Like I said, anything sci-fi. Was saying, like you guys were saying, anything sci-fi in that sense and futuristic, but go a little bit further in the future, just so it doesn't seem so close to us. You know what I mean? That one kind of really messed me up with this. But,
okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I was like, fuck, man, this is my whole life right here.
He's too introspective about the timeline. I don't understand your fixation on this one.
It's just because it just messes with my head. The timeline.
JT gets transported back to moments in his life when he watches film.
No, but like
nothing to do with the actual source material.
I get the source material. I get it. But
he was like, whoa, 2019 was 7 years ago, bro.
Hun, man. And then, to make a fucking...
similar to like Back to the Future Part 2
like
that took place in 2015, and they were like on hoverboards and shit.
To make a 2049 and put it out 2 years before the first one was actually taking place, it's kind of a trip too, right? I get it, but I don't know. Timelines fuck me up with certain things.
They only refer to the year that the movie takes place in that opening like title.
Still, it was
like,
there.
They don't ever say it's 2019.
But it was always in my head when I'm watching. I'm seeing fucking things look like DeLoreans over there with souped up tops and
Then how the fuck do you watch Star Trek? It's the same goddamn thing.
They're in a spaceship.
No, but they're trying to imagine a future.
Of course, they're trying to imagine a future.
That's what this was doing.
That's why I said original Star Trek, because you're trying to imagine a future that at one point was never really even thought of in people's heads. I get that. People's heads. I get that point of the movie.
Here's the thing. Gene Roddenberry just wanted a better future than that's depicted in these type of films, because Gene Roddenberry had hoped that all these people,
they'd all get along.
Well, they'd all get along. The coalition of different Asian person and a black person. That was his whole outlook on things. Yeah. Oh, anyways.
That's interesting. I should watch Star Trek one day.
And look, William Shatner's still alive, so fuck. That guy doesn't die.
Max, any pairings?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, The Matrix, for sure. Like, that's one that definitely rings a bell. And this one is kind of like, I mean, maybe you guys would think is off, but I kind of always thought of it as like the comedic Matrix, the comedy version of The Matrix, and that's The Truman Show. About like booting out of like society and like individual versus like conformity and shit like that.
And that has the creator as well, the creator of that world that they create for him. The guy.
Ed Harris.
Harris. 100%. Actually, that's an interesting pairing.
I didn't even think about that. Frankenstein for sure. Like any version of whichever. I haven't seen the Del Toro version.
Watch it.
I know. I know it's kind of like
watch it. It's so good.
You love it.
I know it's kind of like re-entered the consciousness, Frankenstein. And it was funny, actually. I read Frankenstein and I have the book at home. And in the opening, I was just leafing through it the other day. the opening forward literally says how like by 2035 we're gonna be like fucking cloning animals and doing all this shit, and like it's just crazy. Like, and this book was published in like 2000, like this edition of the book, and they were just talking about all this like futuristic shit. I'm like
doing it.
I'm thinking of just Blade Runner the whole time I'm reading that. So it's just
they have half that shit out there. You just can't get the patent.
My mom was like, we're becoming
real,
vegetarians, like, because we don't even know if we're
clone meat.
Yeah, like clone meat and shit. Like, it's scary what's going on. Samurai Jack, like a TV show thing. Fucking Cowboy Bebop for sure. I think this one, I feel like I pair this movie every time I come on here, but it's a fucking amazing. And this week marks the 50th anniversary of it, actually, and that's Taxi Driver. I just feel like that whole like urban decay and then like the loneliness that this guy is like. Rick Deckard is almost kind of like a Travis in a way, not like totally.
We have still not done that film on this.
We
show.
Probably should. Like I have to pick it because I just keep talking about it.
It's so good.
It's one of the best movies ever made. Literally, like I know I say that for a lot, but that one actually is.
It's in my Scorsese
like,
top 5.
Yeah,
Scorsese
absolutely.
Top 5.
You know, what's so funny too. This movie, when I was watching it, like the plot reminds me so much of a movie I actually picked already, and that's Manhunter. Literally, like of him hunting down this guy, and like Blade Runner is kind of the similar story of him hunting and shooting down those replicants. And I think I'll just leave it at that one. Yeah.
Nice, good pairings. And then finally, which I think it should be fairly obvious, but legacy of this film. I mean, if you want to discuss that at all, I think we've already been talking about it.
Just a landmark film of its genre, the forefather of this genre. Oh, another great anime, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Like, first of all, the Cyberpunk video game, they made like an anime of it. It's fantastic, and also of course Akira too. But like, yeah, just the whole cyberpunk genre. Just what this movie did as far as like the technical aspects that we've been kind of nerding out about this whole time. I think me personally, I think I would consider this Ridley Scott's finest film. I think people kind of have it like up in Alien, like what do you prefer, this or Alien? But I think it's like those two battling it out. But I think I would lean towards Blade Runner. I think I'm more of a Blade Runner guy. And yeah, it's just a landmark film, one of Ridley's best. Maybe Harrison Ford's best movie. I don't know. Maybe. He
doesn't do enough for me in this film.
Maybe the best one he was in. It's either this or the first Star Wars.
You can argue that, but I think in terms of acting, I would say he's even better in Indiana Jones, which we've done. Fair enough. He's got a lot more to do. I'll say in that film,
more exciting.
Yes,
fair
exactly.
enough.
For me personally,
he's
great.
good.
He's great.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah.
But like I was just saying, like as far as movie he started, like the actual movie,
that I can agree.
Best Harrison Ford movie. Whatever.
Because look, his pillars are Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and this. Like in terms of like
and the
genre,
Fugitive, if you're into that too.
Sure, but I mean, just in terms of like that genre of characters, like he has the most iconic characters he's played.
Absolutely.
Honestly, like,
but this I think is in the conversation.
In Star Wars too, he's cooler than fucking Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. Like that's like. I'm gonna pick that on the show one day. Screw all you guys. It's happening.
I love Star Wars.
No, these guys though.
Don't pick it. I can't. I will not. I could not. I would jump off a roof if fucking Julie hates on Star Wars. Like, this shit isn't that good. And like,
why is this guy in a weird costume?
What's a Wookiee?
Why are they like?
What's a Wookiee?
Oh no, you're a hater too of Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck is it?
Mr. Star Trek.
Well, what the fuck is a Wookiee? That's why. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I would bring.
Julie might like it.
Yeah. I'm just joking.
She'll just come on and she'll be like, I understand how cool this movie supposedly is back in the day. But for me,
whatever. That movie, that small little movie.
Sorry, Julie. I feel like you're gagging up on Julie.
No. Yeah, that's probably my 2 cents on it. It's just a fantastic movie. And it's just like it's just such a good like I like it also on like a philosophical level. I just love the ideas that are like thrown in here. Like I put it up against like The Matrix as far as just like movies that you go, holy shit, like how did they come up with this kind of stuff? So yeah, that's my legacy.
Great pick. Nice. Yeah, great pick. Good discussion. I really enjoyed doing
this. You're making me want to rewatch it again.
What's the legacy for you guys?
This and Ridley, Ridley Scott, and just the fact that you said it's like one of the biggest staples in the genre that everything was influenced off of as a result. Like so many things directly influenced filmmakers that were directly influenced. Yeah, that's got to be the legacy.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with you. I think this is probably.
I think we know.
I look at Ridley completely different after seeing him on that documentary.
You know what? I'm curious. Like, had he not made Alien, had he not made Blade Runner, would his name have been what it is? Like, would we have even kind of like? I'm just saying, like, he made great movies later on. Gladiator's great, and like, you know, all those epics he made, and Thelma and Louise. It's crazy how much of a chameleon he is. I would say this though. I feel like Blade Runner is like the one where he's like, this is so him. Like, this is so the movie he made that didn't feel like it came from somewhere else, kind of like his other movies.
But seeing him talk in that documentary, that's what was so cool about it, and how I look at him now, like very differently, is that this was all in his mind. Like he specifically knew how he wanted this. I know it's based on the novel, and obviously he didn't write the script, but the fact that he knew the identity of this film in terms of like what he wanted it to look like, that he had that like in him, I think is super fucking impressive, because I could never come up with something this creative like in my life. Like I'm just not that person. So like I'm truly impressed by that.
Me too.
I'm
in awe.
Truly impressed by that, like how he was able to do that. And that we'll never get something like that today, because they just don't believe in these things.
That's another
anymore.
Practical effects and all that stuff.
They'll never do that now. Like, I know there's other people that are very pro practical effect type people. We talked about some of them today. Del Toro, like but you know, even
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is some people still waving that flag and pushing that kind of narrative, like of like, let's kind of do this more. But you know, not many.
Like Christopher Nolan, his movies, I guess it's also like inflation you have to take into account, but his movies are like hundreds of millions of dollars on the budget. The
studio believes in him. Is the
absolutely, but this movie cost $30 million to make. I mean, I don't know what 30 million is, $82 if today, but
if a studio doesn't believe in you and believe that you actually will bring revenue back for a project that they're going to back to the degree that they do with his films, like The Odyssey, for instance, if they didn't believe in him, that would never happen.
Of course not.
Right?
Of course
so
not.
like that's
but can you believe that a movie like this was made for 30 million? When you just look at it, you go like, what
this looks like 100 million.
Yeah. Maybe that was $100 million. Was it? Is that? Did you check just now, Julie?
Yeah. Oh, like in relation to today's dollar. Yeah. Like, really?
Yeah. $100 million. I guess I could believe that. Yeah. But it still is
40 years. That's the inflation. That's crazy.
All right. So that all being said, it's my pick next for the next episode.
I'm excited to see what you.
I really took a long time to decide this. I probably switched my pick like 5 times. I was like, should I go a completely different direction? Should I do something to complement this movie? I honestly was going to pick, if you didn't pick this movie, I was originally going to go with T2, because we've never done that on the show.
That was a good
but
pick.
This just feels like too much of the same type of like genre-ish type stuff. So and then I was going to go another direction and do like you did 2 films that are like similar in like tone or genre, and have you guys pick. But ultimately, I did go with a little bit of a theme episode, and also something that I wanted to do in remembrance of Catherine O'Hara, who just passed away this very recently, this past week, and a film I've actually wanted to do on this show before. We can't do Home Alone. We've done that already. We can't do think of the Catherine O'Hara movies. We also done Beetlejuice on this channel, which Catherine O'Hara is great in. It's not Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm sorry, Julie.
I know what it is. I know where you're going.
It's Scorsese's After Hours.
Oh, not where I thought you were going. Okay.
So this is Martin Scorsese's After Hours, a film that I actually just kind of discovered the last year or two as well.
I love this movie.
And it's by one of my favorite directors. Catherine O'Hara has a very small part in it, but she is amongst the cast. So in remembrance of Catherine O'Hara, I kind of wanted to do this as our next pick, After Hours. So
great choice.
Yeah, there you go. That's our next pick for the show. 1985. This is a Martin Scorsese film, and it's a weird one. It's a strange one. I don't know if you guys are you any of you familiar with this other than Max?
I've seen that picture with the clock. Yeah, I've seen that poster before. Where the fuck did I see that poster?
Yeah, so it's
I thought you were gonna make us watch Best in Show.
I like Best in Show as well, but yeah, no. I just use this as a way to not only talk about her, because like I said, she's not a huge part of this movie, but it's also a movie I've wanted to do on the show that I've watched like 2 or 3 times since I've watched it last. So
I can't wait to talk about
that. It's a good one.
My boys are in there.
Oh, Cheech and Chong.
Hey, that's for the next topic. There you go.
Oh, there. Yeah, we already know.
We've already spoiled that.
Yeah.
Our discussion today has made me decide on my next pick also.
Ooh.
What did you say, Julie?
But just the discussion today led me to decide on mine for next time.
Wow.
All right, there you go. So stay tuned for
what
that.
Nico said prior to this, but
Stay tuned for that, everybody. She's gonna make us watch something.
I'm curious what that is now.
Well, you have to wait till next episode to hear about what that.
Now that I know how much Nico loves David Lynch.
Ooh.
I don't hate his stuff. I just don't
even know.
understand.
I've only seen Eraserhead. That's it.
Oh, I watched a couple of his
I'm
movies.
a rookie when it comes to
Yeah,
David
I watched a couple of his movies now, but I'm not sure if he's my thing necessarily. But yeah, looking forward to
seems like
it.
an acquired taste.
I
I
want to
think.
see what Julie was like. I want to see what is.
JT's gonna fucking hate it. I guarantee
Julie's
you.
Revenge. Julie's Revenge.
Yeah.
The Reckoning.
All right, guys. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Great pick once again, Blade Runner Max.
Thank you.
Nice to see you back again.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time for After Hours for episode 77. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out our other videos on our playlist here as well. Later, everyone.
Peace out.
Welcome to the show, everybody.